All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new. Thank you guys so much for joining me as always, and thank you for waiting patiently. I also want to thank you for showing up on such short notice. I am obviously streaming at a different time, gave you guys less time to show up, but yet you guys are here, and I thank you so much for that. We have some interesting topics to go over and discuss today. As you can see by the title, the PS5 is crushing the Xbox Series X and S. And I know that may seem like an inflammatory title, and I guess maybe to an extent it is, but it is true. It is true, and this is something that is very interesting to me, and we're seeing it kind of become more significant as each month, as each quarter, and as each year goes by. And I just want to talk about what this could really mean for the future of the console space, for the future of PlayStation, for the future of Microsoft, and possibly even the future of Nintendo. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about the PlayStation Portal. Okay, the PlayStation Portal is out. It's in customers' hands, and it seems like it's a bit of a surprise hit. I don't want to say it's like a massive hit or anything, but I definitely want to underline the word surprise because it seems like there were a lot of people thinking that this thing was going to be completely DOA and just not stand a chance, but it seems like we're actually kind of seeing the opposite of that. Some pretty decent demand here. We're going to be talking about an update regarding X, formerly known as Twitter, integration and how that may be coming back in a more significant way. We're talking about the Suicide Squad game because they're still trying to win people over on this. And I don't know, it's not looking too good. We'll probably talk more about the Game Awards and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll go into many different directions over the course of this stream. So yeah, with that being said, I have a couple of super chats here from New Soul 9. He says, hey, MBG, what is your opinion on the line? And Tesla. I don't have much of an opinion. To be honest, I'm not even sure what the line is. You're saying it's a city utopia. I mean, I guess without knowing much about it, my just gut reaction to hearing about a city utopia is it sounds like something that on paper would be great, but in practice and in execution could be disastrous and potentially go very poorly. You know, that's kind of the initial gut feeling I get. Again, without having any context, I've never heard of this, but you know, just a city utopia. I mean, yeah, it's on paper. You're saying the line is the ultimate hold the line. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this is. But New Soul 9. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry I can't give you more than that. I don't know. I don't know, man. But I do appreciate the super chats, and I'm actually going to let you guys know a couple of ways you can help support my channel and my content. I am fan-funded. I do rely on you guys as the sponsors of the channel to be able to continue to do these streams as frequently as I do, and to be able to keep things flowing here. So there are basically 3 ways in which you can support me directly. Number 1, as New Soul 9 has done here, you can donate a super chat. Ask a question, give an opinion, make a statement, everything in between. I really do appreciate the super chats. Consider becoming a channel member. You gain access to some perks, and on top of that, you are also able to gift memberships. So if you have a membership badge next to your name, consider gifting out some memberships. It's a really, big thing we do here on the channel. People are very generous, and it helps support my content directly, and I really, really do appreciate that. So, yeah. If you can't do any of those things, or if it's just not something you're interested in, just simply watching the content, watching the videos, watching the streams, engaging with it, hitting that like button, I'd very much appreciate that. So yeah, guys, hit that like button. Let me know you're enjoying the streams. Helps with the algorithm as well. And we have Domingo813 coming in saying, I'm going to drop a membership gift and get this thing started today. Domingo813, a longtime member as well. Thank you so much, my friend. Let me actually add that to the counter. He's kicking it off. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. W's in the chat for Domingo813.
Appreciate it.
I feel like there's something I'm forgetting to say. Sure, it'll come to me, whatever it may be. But did Alan Wake 2 flop? That's a great question. That's a great. Actually, that's not a topic I had written down here, but you know what? We should talk about this momentarily. Did Alan Wake 2 flop? It might have. It might have, because we have some data. I need to find it. Where is it? So the NPD data just came out yesterday, or it's not. They're not called the NPD anymore. They're called Circana, but they're formerly known as the NPD. And they came out and they added a new piece of data where they now track the most played games on each platform. I think the top 20 most played games. And this comes from Matt Piscatella. He says, let me actually find I only have a portion of it here. It says, seeing some discussion on Alan Wake 2 not being in the charts. Publisher Epic Games is not part of the DLP, so digital sales are not included. But he says Alan Wake 2 did not rank among the top 150 titles on either the PS5 or the Xbox Series consoles in October monthly active users, according to Circana's data. He says here that it also did release at the tail end of the tracking period. So, it's hard to say if that had an impact on it. He also adds here that Alan Wake 2 would have likely benefited from having a physical release. So, I don't know, man. This is not great. I mean, there is an explanation why Alan Wake 2 is not showing up on the charts, because it's just not tracked, at least for sales. But when it comes to monthly active users, it didn't crack the top. Like, that's insane. That's like, now that I'm actually thinking about it, that's kind of wild. 150, the top 150 games, the top 150 most played games for the month of October. Alan Wake couldn't even make the 150th spot. It couldn't even make the 150th spot. That's I don't know, man. That sounds like a really bad sign. That sounds like a really, really bad sign. And I don't want to say that means like it definitely flopped, but it's just, I don't know. You think it launched 1 week after Spider-Man 2. A lot of people probably trying to decide, do I buy Spider-Man 2 or do I buy Alan Wake 2? And I mean, most people are going to say, yeah, I'm going to go buy Spider-Man 2 and maybe I'll get to Alan Wake. And, maybe with positive word of mouth with the Game Awards and whatnot, I pretty much have beaten Alan Wake 2. And, I'm a bit flip-floppy on this game a little bit the further I get into it, because I will say this. I thought there were going to be more playable sections as Alan. And, the sections that are there where you play as Alan Wake are incredible. I thought there was going to be more than what I experienced. So I was a little bit caught off guard by that. But the more boss battles I engage with, I won't lie, the boss battles have to be the weakest part of this game, where it's just like, there's just nothing to them. There's nothing to them. You just shoot the bosses and, dodge and attack occasionally. And I guess I kind of thought, like, as I progressed further in the game, that there was going to be a little bit more, but I don't know. It's still a really good game. The quality is there. Remedy, they definitely have talent, and I think it shows, but I can kind of tell as I'm approaching, I have, gotten to the end of the game. Okay, maybe I have to sit back and think, okay, how much? I did see people saying, like, this game doesn't have that much gameplay, and it's kind of true. Like, I hate to say that, because it's not like I don't enjoy the slower approach. I do have an appreciation for, slow-paced game. I do, but there are definitely some sections of this where, I kind of find myself feeling like, okay, like, can we like get a move on here? Can we, there are definitely sections of the game where I started to kind of run, and I'm trying to just get through the next whatever. But the combat is, I think that's what kind of drives me nuts, is the combat is actually really good. There's no pizzazz to the boss battles. The combat itself is solid, but there's a very, very minimal enemy, variety. It's I don't know. it's a 50-50 thing for me at this point, because I was very much I was heavily impressed with like the first chunk of this game. And then I kind of started to get into a flow with it where you're going back and forth between Alan, between Saga, and I'll be just brutally honest right now, man. Like, I enjoy Alan Wake's character significantly more than most of the other characters in this game. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like they kind of underutilized him a little bit and what's going on with his side of the story. It's, I don't know, it's conflicting feelings, because I do like Saga Anderson's character is fine, but I gotta just be real right now, guys. Like, I did notice as I approached the end of this game that I don't know. I'll just save it. I don't want to spoil anything. I'll save it. I'll talk about it a little bit more in depth, maybe on another stream. But point is, Alan Wake 2 may have flopped, which is, I don't know. I don't want to say, you should have made a physical game, Remedy. Come on. Damn it. Like, you should. Do you know how many people I've seen? Do you know how many people I've seen say that like they would have maybe bought Alan Wake 2 if it wasn't digital only? Whatever. Anyway, we have Perfect Image with a super chat saying, how do you feel about the PlayStation Portal and it having a cloud gaming feature? I think that's incredible. That's actually one of the... really quick here. You're saying the stream is lagging? God, I'm going to... Listen, I'm going to have to fuck with my setup. Not right now. But I'm going to have to mess around with something like tomorrow or whatever, because I just can't help but notice that ever since I did this new setup, I don't know if it's a placement of the wires or something, but I do see people saying it's lagging for them, unless they're trolling me. But it's people that I see here frequently and interact in a positive way with the chat, so I don't think they're trolling. So I don't know. It's either that or YouTube is gaslighting me again. You're saying Remedy games don't sell well to begin with, so it alienates 30% of potential buyers. Yeah, dude, I'll be real with you, man. I have no fucking idea why Remedy was like, we're not going to make a physical copy. Like, it, especially during the holiday season, like, people would buy the game as a gift to give to somebody, put under the tree, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So not, it just removing that entire, I don't know. Look, I'm not saying I want to see Alan Wake 2 flop. I don't. But what I will say is, if it does flop, like if it's going to flop, it's not in my control. I'll at least be happy in the sense that other publishers are going to look at that and say, you know what? Maybe don't do digital only releases. Maybe we still make physical games. You're saying it's lagging a little bit? Yeah, that's the thing. With the lag that's going on here, it seems to just be kind of... I'm seeing it on my end too. I don't know what's going on. I have a fucking wired connection. I have fiber optic internet. What is happening? It's ever since I moved to this new location. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. Just as long as my voice is coming through, hopefully you'll still enjoy it. But the cloud feature that's being worked on for the PlayStation Portal, yes. This is going to be something that I think will make the PlayStation Portal an absolute game changer when they can come out and say, hey, if you buy this device for $200 and you're subscribed to PlayStation Plus Premium, then boom, you can just stream games. Now, I'm not saying it's the ideal way to play games. Obviously, the ideal way is have your PlayStation 5 play natively. But I'm telling you, having that option at your disposal where you can actually just take this thing anywhere and just play these games through the cloud, I do think that will be a game changer for quite a few people. And it could potentially lean towards this future for Sony, where the future of PlayStation handhelds, for better or for worse, but I think it's honestly the only thing that's realistic at this point, is going to be cloud gaming, right? I think it's cool that they acknowledge this. I wasn't expecting it. I will say I did not expect Sony to just come out and acknowledge that, yeah, this is something we're going to be working on. And they didn't give us like a release date or anything, but they made it clear, like, yeah, we're looking into that. And it makes sense. it makes sense. It's not shocking. I just didn't think they would openly admit that, yeah, we're working on that because infrastructure. You got this new device that could definitely stream those games and make use of it. Why not? You know, why not? Now, the big thing here, this is the big question. And maybe this is why Sony is not guaranteeing it or not giving a date. If they enable cloud streaming on the PlayStation Portal, that's a big deal for the PlayStation business and just the entire ecosystem, because the way Sony has always done this type of stuff is you need the console to play PS5 games, right? Like, you need the console. I mean, of course, they'll put some games on PC, but they come later. But I don't know. You know what? Hold on. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, no. You know, let me turn this around. This actually makes complete sense the more I think about it, because Sony does the same thing with PlayStation Plus. By that I mean they put their PS5 exclusives onto PlayStation Plus at a later date, just like they do for PC. So this seems to me like it could be the closest thing to a solution to allowing PlayStation players to not have to go to PC, not have to buy a Steam Deck, but hey, maybe buy this $200 handheld, and if you are subscribed to Premium, boom, you can stream these games. So I don't know. It's to me, it serves as basically a good, potentially promising in between, and it'll be really interesting to see what Sony does with PlayStation Plus Premium at that point. Because if they're going to open up that door, where it's like you can buy the PlayStation Portal and you can stream games on it if you're subscribed to Premium, Sony might be pretty incentivized to maybe make Premium an even better offering than it is now. To try to get more people onto that. It's just another potential avenue for them. But they're not going to rush into it. Actually says, so Lies of P is easily my game of the year. 10 out of 10. It's polished. The world building and the graphics are amazing. Gameplay is perfection. Music and sound top notch. And the story is great. Highly recommended. Well, thank you for letting me know, actually. I was curious to hear your thoughts on it because, yeah, that's the thing, man. I'm eager to play Lies of P. I am. It is the next game I'm going to be playing on my PS5. I basically just wanted to make sure I get through Alan Wake 2, and I pretty much have. I don't know that I'm going to platinum Alan Wake 2, though. That's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to platinum it. Even though it's an easy platinum, it just, I don't know. It's asking me to like do that thing where it's like, go back and do the puzzle that you missed. And it's like, I don't think I will. That's not fun. Like, I'm good. I'm good. I think I'm doing it, guys. I may finally be having a breakthrough here where I'm not going to have to feel the need to platinum games anymore. I feel like I might be getting to this point, guys, where it's like I'm just going to start playing games and enjoying them as I enjoy them without worrying about whether or not I'm unlocking the trophies and doing all the things and getting all the platinums. We'll see. I could very well be saying this now and then next week say, actually, I ended up, looking up all the guides and getting all the trophies and whatnot. So you're saying I've been at that point. Welcome to the team. Yeah, I'm really excited for Lies of P, though. But we have King Sam with the super chat saying, hey, MBG, getting back to Sekiro anytime soon? Right now, no. I don't want to say that I didn't like Sekiro, but man, I just struggled to get into it. I did. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad at the game. Maybe I just didn't have what it takes. But right now, I don't have any desire to go back and play Sekiro, unfortunately, King Sam. Maybe in the future, but I can't make any promises. And we have Hellbound 1981. The legend. The legend returns once again. He drops 5 more memberships for the community. Guys, let's get some W's in the chat for Hellbound 1981. He's always showing up here, always dropping some membership gifts, and we are always grateful for Hellbound doing so. So, Hellbound,
thank you.
That's for you, man. And I'm also going to give you a, I'll give you a crazy round, Hellbound. Really appreciate it. He brings us up to 6 members on the day. which is great to see. So thank you for that support, buddy. Let me keep things rolling along here because I still have more super chats to go over. So yeah, King Sam, right now, Lies of P is on my radar, not Sekiro. Let's see. Colby Watson with a $5 chat. Thank you so much for that, buddy. He says, do you actually enjoy horror games? I find myself stressing through them instead of actually enjoying the experience. The Last of Us is as far as I go. I would classify The Last of Us as a horror game, certainly. Not like the scariest horror game, but yeah, there are definitely some horrific elements of The Last of Us and that world. But I mean, I get what you're saying. It reminds me of Resident Evil 2 Remake. It does. It reminds me of Resident Evil 2 Remake where, you know, when you run into Mr. X and you kind of discover that he chases you no matter where you go for like a portion of that game until you progress. Now that was fucking stressful. That's like where I agree that in those moments, it creates like a level of stress where it's like, I don't know that I could say I'm enjoying this, but I'm feeling something. I'm feeling an intense emotion while I experience this. And I think that that's really what people who enjoy horror games look for, is it's that kind of intense feeling that you can really only get, I think, in horror games or like when you watch horror movies, right? And what I've noticed for me these days is, especially as I get older, it becomes harder and harder for games to actually scare me. And this is why I am eventually, don't know when exactly, but eventually I am going to embrace PlayStation VR 2 and dive into some horror games. Because that day is going to come where I just realize that I'm just not getting scared anymore. Like Alan Wake 2, for example. It's a survival horror game, right? That's what they classify it as. But it's not... I only got jump scared one time in Alan Wake 2. And it was the cheapest jump scare you could possibly put in there, where just something flashes on the screen real quickly and screams at you instantaneously. And they kept doing it after that, but it was the first time was the only time it got me. And then it's like, you know, to me, the horror of a game like Alan Wake 2 is more in the mystery of, this is really strange, this is creepy and bizarre. But in terms of horror that's like really going to stress you out and scare the shit out of you, I'm finding that less and less in games these days. And I might not just be the games, it might be me too, because I'm finding that less and less in horror movies as well, where it really takes something kind of next level to actually genuinely scare me and make me go, like, oh shit, like I'm actually terrified. But I will say in Resident Evil 2 Remake with Mr. X just constantly chasing you throughout that police station, man, that was incredibly stressful and definitely frightening. I mean, there were moments when I was playing that where, you know, I'm in a room and I'm trying to fucking solve a puzzle and I hear this guy walk in and I'm like, oh God, you got to be kidding me. And yeah, Resident Evil 7 was pretty scary. There was that moment in Resident Evil 7 with the mother, I think, where she like transformed and I was like, okay, now that is fucking scary shit right there. So I hear you, Colby. I hear you, man. But The Last of Us, not too bad. I mean, not too bad. If that's as far as you're going to go for horror, I'd say it's still pretty good. Kendallfire22 says, NPD numbers confuse me because Alan Wake 2 was the 11th most downloaded game on the PSN in October. Also, Remedy makes their games with low budgets. They'll be fine. Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you pointed this out just to clarify something here. Maybe Alan Wake 2 didn't flop because we do have to understand that they're saying it's the 150 most played games. What that tells me is that I think maybe a lot of people bought Alan Wake 2, but didn't really play it for that long, or they're playing it in like really spread out chunks and bursts. And I could kind of understand that because the game... Look, man, I've seen people completing Alan Wake 2 in like a couple days, and I'm like, I don't know how you do that. The game is too slow paced for me to be able to sit there for like an entire day and just kind of get through it that way. You're saying, wow, this channel is a lot more fanboyish than I thought, and I've been defending this channel too. What is my title upsetting you? Is my title fanboyish? I mean, You could say my title is fanboyish, but the question is this, because I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Because I'm talking about Alan Wake 2. I don't know what would make that fanboyish. But my question to you is this: is my title untrue? Is it false? Is it a false statement? Is it a hyperbolic statement? Is it an exaggeration? I don't think it is, man. I'm not putting this down. I'm not saying PS5's crushing Xbox Series X because Xbox fucking sucks. Xbox does suck. But the reality is, I have nothing to do with it sucking. I have nothing to do with the Xbox getting demolished right now. Xbox is getting demolished by the PS5 right now because people don't want to buy Xbox consoles. I don't know what to say, dude. Like, they just keep going down and down and down and down. And I'm not here to hate on Xbox for that. I'm just here to point out that, holy shit, Sony right now has like no competition in the console space. Now, maybe Nintendo will change that, but Xbox clearly is not changing that. All right, let me see. No, you're right, man. Xbox only sucks sometimes, but you could say the same thing about Sony at times. All right, you could say the same thing about Sony at times. It's a give and take. It's a give and take here. Okay, what do you want from me? But yeah, Kendall Fire. Just to get back to what you're saying, we could be seeing a situation where Alan Wake 2 actually sold relatively well, but it's just that people are not spending like long amounts of time actually playing it, hence why it didn't make it in the top 150 most played. So I don't know. They haven't announced any sales numbers, but I imagine it getting like nominated for the Game Awards and whatnot will probably help it a little bit. You know, a lot of people maybe, oh yeah, I'll go give it a shot, pick it up maybe. You know what they should do? I got to tell you this too. They're out of their minds. They have to be fast tracking a physical version of Alan Wake 2 because it's like your game is nominated for Game of the Year. You need to make a physical copy of this game. Come on. Just call it Game of the Year edition. There you go. I mean, you actually can at this point. Ice Reza with a $5 super chat says, people must realize it's vital for Sony to be a market leader. Imagine if Microsoft was leading, then Sony would eventually go third party. That's an interesting take. I actually never really viewed it that way. It's vital for Sony to be a market leader. I mean, there is truth to that to a degree, in the sense that Microsoft is in the unique position where if Microsoft never wants to go third party, they never have to. They never have to. It might not make business sense at some point for them if they like continue to struggle or they, have trouble growing Game Pass, but the reality is they don't need to ever go third party because Microsoft as a parent company is too powerful. They're too large. They're too rich, right? They're unmatched right now by Sony or by Nintendo or even by, Valve or anything like that. So when you look at Sony, if Sony were to swap places with Microsoft and suddenly be in third place, but yeah, Sony would have probably have no choice but to go third party. Straight up. Just being real. Like, they would probably be like on the ropes. We're not making any money, right? Like, or we're making money, but we're really not making any profit. And our games are struggling. We're not selling games. We have to lower the budgets of our games. I mean, who knows if Sony would have to go third party. But I will say this though. Sony is where they are right now. Sony being the market leader and being as dominant with the PS5 consoles they are right now, they do not have to worry about that at all. Like, it's just not even a thing. Like, the furthest you could go is if they make free-to-play live service games, maybe then, right? Bungie, their multi-platform, that's fine. But in terms of like look, I understand Spider-Man 2 is not everybody's cup of tea. I know a lot of people are like pissed off at Spider-Man 2 because it's like it's woke now, and I'm not having that conversation again. We talked about that shit enough. But what I can tell you is that Spider-Man 2 is a single-player game. It's exclusive to the PS5, and it's fucking murdering. Like, it is doing incredible numbers. It's already the 4th best-selling game of the year. Now, that's what Sony's dealing with right now. Okay, Sony does not have to go third party. And the idea is if they just keep this up, right? Like, let's bring out Wolverine. Let's bring out Sony Ben's new IP. Let's bring out this. Let's bring out that. Let's keep bringing out these AAA single-player games and letting them just do what they do. As long as Sony continues to do that and they're selling it alongside consoles, I mean, they're winning in the most important areas right now. I understand that there's still this intense conversation that will just continue and go on and on and on and on, right, for probably years to come regarding consolidation, regarding acquisitions, regarding subscription services and this and that. But here's the thing, man. Sony has they have been navigating this pretty well, where we could talk about their profit margins and whether or not they're making enough profit. Yeah, they're going to work on that. But generally speaking, profit margins can be corrected, right? Like, that's something they can work towards and slowly increase and appease their shareholders. But it would be a much bigger problem for Sony right now if it's, we're having trouble selling PS5s. The PS5's falling behind. People aren't buying our console. Or we're getting decimated by the competition, right? Or nobody's buying our games. Like, we can't even sell 2 million copies of our game. We're struggling to do that. If Sony was in that position, yeah, dude, I mean, what you're saying here does not sound crazy, where if they were in that type of position in this market today, they would be struggling, dude, big time. Like, they would seriously have to contemplate, like, do we go third party? Does PlayStation become a third party brand? Do we give up consoles? If they were in that position, but they're in the opposite. They're doing amazing numbers with their consoles. They're doing amazing numbers with their games. And there's no promise that they'll continue to do that. But they seem to have a formula, and the fans are supportive of that formula. The fans are buying the consoles. The fans are buying the games. So we have Omen86. And Omen, I apologize, man. I'm getting a little bit behind on these super chats. I see you dropped 3. I'll have to read them momentarily. But Omen86, another legend, makes his return today. He comes in and he drops 5 more membership gifts onto this community.
Appreciate it.
Omen gets a crazy Arnold and a big thank you. Really appreciate you doing that, man. Really appreciate all the support you show the channel. He brings us up to 11 members on the day. So guys, we are making our way to our goal, thanks to the very generous community members we have here who are also very supportive of what we do here of the stream. So Omen, big shout out to you, my friend. W's in the chat for Omen. And I'll read your super chat momentarily. I have to read Michael Lynch's $10 super chat. He says, shame you're going to play Lies of P over Sekiro. Sekiro controls much better and the bosses are amazing. If you think Sekiro is hard, Lies of P has something for you. Really? That's interesting to me. That's because, I mean, look, I don't know if Sekiro is necessarily hard so much as, I mean, it is a difficult game, right? But I don't know if what's getting in my way with that game, it might just be the mechanics, man. It might be the linear nature of the mechanics, where I am used to in FromSoft games having options. I mean, like a ton of options. Like, hey man, you can make a strength build, you can make a dex build, you can make a tank build, whatever it is you need to do to push through and strategize and find different ways around these problems. And I get it. Maybe that speaks to my lack of skill, but I don't know, man. I've never, I know, get good. The thing is, when I've played the Souls games, like I did struggle more so with Bloodborne than I did Dark Souls 1 through 3, because again, Bloodborne, while not as extreme as Sekiro, Bloodborne still does kind of, it creates a more narrow path where it forces you to be aggressive. That's the thing about Bloodborne is, you want to get your health back. Well, you better start swinging. You better start attacking aggressively as you can. And I did struggle with that a little bit. I did start to get much better at it, obviously. And I have no doubt, I'm pretty sure I could master Sekiro. In fact, I know I could. It's a matter of, I don't know if I'm going to have it in me. Now, here's the thing. If you're telling me that Lies of P is actually even harder than Sekiro, we'll see about that. Because Lies of P, I noticed that Lies of P is seemingly trying to mix multiple things that FromSoft has done in the past, right? Where they're incorporating a couple of Sekiro, gameplay mechanics, but also mechanics from Dark Souls and Elden Ring and whatnot. And so I don't know. It's tough, man, because I don't want to do that thing where I just like pretend to enjoy something when I'm not. I just couldn't bring myself to do that. I played Sekiro. Maybe it was the conditions in which I was playing it in. Maybe it's because I was trying to record it and deliver it for you guys in gameplay. Maybe if I were to just try to play it on my own terms, my own time, maybe. But I don't know. There was just something about it that I was struggling with where it was difficult, but I maybe it is a skill thing. I don't know. I just said here, I know that I could master it, but maybe I don't know that. Maybe that is exactly why I am gravitating away from it. And, if you're saying Lies of P is harder, this will be interesting for me to find out, because if Lies of P is harder, then I probably will not make it through, But the thing about Lies of P that seems so different is you have these different options. You have these different options at your disposal. Dude, oh my God, look at that. I knew that. Dude, look at that Did I just pull it off? Oh, I just pulled it off. Dude, there was like this mustache hair that was like a centimeter above my actual mustache, and it was curling. It was like curling into my nose. I kept feeling it. I'm like, what the hell is that? Apparently it just came off though. So a little is that some mustache? What's going on here? What is going on with my mustache today? What is that? What the hell is it? It won't come. Guys, what's happening? It won't come off. Well, don't mind me as I'm just figuring out what the hell is burrowed into my mustache here. I hope it's not. Surely it's not food. Yeah, I'm going to go groom myself, guys. There we go. It's gone. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you guys had to witness that. I have no fucking idea what that was. First, I got like a mustache hair that's curling into my nose, and then, I don't know. Something's going on here. Something's going on here. Just do a clean shave. Dude, the last time I did a clean shave, it did not go over well, man. It looks so weird. It looks so weird. I feel weird when I mean, I've had a clean shaven face so few times in my life since I actually could start growing a beard. I look like Tom Hardy. I've been told that many times in my life that I look like I've been told I look like Shia LaBeouf or Tom Hardy the most. But Michael, I appreciate it, man. I'll let you know. I'll let you know what my experience with Lies of P is like. I will say that I played the demo of Lies of P and I really did enjoy it. It was tough though. It was tough. Like I did struggle with that first boss. It took me like 15 good tries. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'll see if I end up getting back to Sekiro. If I do, I'll obviously let you guys know. We'll see. Maybe the journey isn't over quite yet. Don't want to make any promises, though. See, that's interesting to me. Somebody's saying Lies of P is way easier than Sekiro. Damn. Omen86 with 3 super chats in a row here. Very much appreciate that, buddy. You're saying not much time, but wanted to drop in. Love the Portal. It seems to be selling well. Just wait till Sony flicks the switch and enables cloud streaming. MBG, you're the man, always putting out content more reliable than German cars. Wow, what a compliment. Final Fantasy Rebirth coming up, moving more hardware for Sony. And then you say, at Exley, where have I been? I've actually been gaming a lot. Finished both Red Matter 1 and 2, by the way. Loved it. Currently playing Astrigos, if I'm saying that correctly. Says it's a hidden gem. Well, there you go. There you go. Omen86 letting everybody know where he's been. He's been gaming. He can't bring himself away from his games. He's clearly been enjoying some PSVR 2. And Omen, I really appreciate it, man. I appreciate you just, dropping by, still showing up to the streams, showing some love to the channel, to the community, and to me is, through support. It means a lot, man. And yeah, dude, I am so curious to see. I am, not to go back to it, but I am so curious to see what happens when when Sony does flip that switch and they enable cloud streaming, because I don't know, man. My assumption is if they're going to do that, they have some plans. They have some plans, right? They're going to add more games. They have to. So Omen, really appreciate it. He drops 3 super chats and he drops 5 membership gifts. What a swell guy Omen86 is. Appreciate that support, man. Yeah, Rebirth. Whew. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming. That's going to be a hell of a game. You know what's wild about Rebirth and the timing of it launching is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be coming out not too long after Helldivers 2. So to me, this could be like a kind of, I don't know, an interesting moment with PlayStation where my rotation come February for games could be a multiplayer title from Sony in Helldivers 2, and then a exclusive PS5 game in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, I know that's not Sony's game, that's Square's game, but that's a hell of a rotation, man. This is why I just get so confused when I get we need a roadmap, and I've been an advocate for that. We need a roadmap from Sony, but I do get confused when people make it sound like Sony doesn't got nothing. They don't got anything lined up. It's like, dude, well, all right, look, I get it. We need to see more, but it's like, enjoy what is in front of us for a little bit, at least a little bit. See, dude, Silent Hill 2 remake is, when are they going to announce this date? Because the game is up for pre-order out of nowhere, and it's getting pre-ordered. I've been seeing people pre-ordering it. And now apparently we're hearing that stores are beginning to get marketing materials. It's like, it just has to be a Game Awards thing, right? It has to. They have to announce the release date at the Game Awards, and it seems like it's going to drop in early 2024. What if they said it comes out in January? Now, that'd be amazing. Probably not enough marketing time, though. Maybe like March. Oh my God, please not February. Konami, please do not drop Silent Hill 2 Remake in February. It's too much. I'm not going to be able to do that. That's going to kill me. Maybe March would be better. Even April. No. Silent Hill 2 Remake, they're doing a physical disc. If you go on Amazon right now, you can pre-order it. Silent Hill 2 Remake for PS5. Yep. No release date, but you can pre-order it. So they're not going digital only. We have Sean Mitchell with a super chat. Really appreciate it, buddy. You're saying here, completed Spider-Man 2 last week, MBG. What a game. Switching my attention to Metal Gear Solid Volume 1 on the Switch. First one played well. Just glad that I have widescreen now starting Sons of Liberty. Sons of Liberty, what an amazing game. I'll be honest with you, man. I cannot bring myself to purchase the Metal Gear Master Collection just because I'm not here to tell you made a mistake if you bought this, because that's not fair, because it's like there aren't many ways to access these games anymore. So I don't feel that way at all. I totally understand. But I'll probably buy it when it's like really cheap. I just am annoyed with Konami here, man. I am. I don't mean to sound like such a complainer, but it's like, God, why did you do the absolute bare minimum? Like, that bothers me because it makes me worried about the future. Like, let's be real right now. Konami still has a lot to prove. They come out, they drop Silent Hill Ascension. Have you guys seen Silent Hill Ascension? And yeah, that's true, Devil Shooter. You can emulate them and play them at even higher quality, which is insane. Like, you would think Konami would be able to at least match that. Hold on. What? Oh my God, why is my... Damn, dude, I gotta start moisturizing my face. Somebody like pointed out that my face looks really red, and I'm looking at it, you can see it. It's like an outline. I look like I'm sunburnt. Holy shit. That's the cold weather, man. That's the cold weather creeping in. It's drying me up. It's drying me up. Sorry about that. What the hell was I just saying? God, my ADD is it ADD, ADHD? I don't know which one I have, but it's off the charts today. Anyway, the Metal Gear Collection. I'm worried about Konami because they come out with Silent Hill Ascension. Dude, Silent Hill Ascension is a disaster. It's like a complete disaster where they're like, please give us your money for a battle pass for a Silent Hill game. Like, what? Why battle pass for a Silent Hill game? Konami, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then we see what they do with the Metal Gear Collection. Well, just a little bit worse. It's like, okay, fine. Fine. Just please don't mess up Silent Hill 2 Remake, and please don't mess up Metal Gear Solid Delta. All right? Maybe do a better job with Volume 2. So, look, I watched a bunch of comparisons and stuff and breakdowns and reviews of the Metal Gear Collection, and here's how I feel about it, okay? If you've never played these games and you buy this collection, you know what? I only have good things to say, because if you never played these games and this is going to be your first time experiencing them, that's all that matters. You're going to have a hell of a time. Enjoy every moment of it. If you're somebody who has played these games and you really just wanted to re-experience them, I still don't have any problems, because it's like, I can't blame you. These are some of the greatest games ever created. I get it, man. Maybe it's a shame that Konami didn't put the most work into it, or barely any work into it at all. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, I cannot fault anyone for caving and saying, I got to play these Metal Gear games, man. I mean, Sons of Liberty, yes. But I guess the reason why it was kind of easy for me is a gnat shows up. Of course a gnat would show up. Why wouldn't a gnat show up? Why the fuck is there a gnat? Jesus. Sorry, I'm just like, I don't know how. Like, I don't know how. It's cold outside. You should all be dead. Sorry. I don't fault anybody for just saying, I want to replay Metal Gear games. And if that's your way of doing it, if that's like the easiest way for you to do it, and it makes the most sense for you, I'm not going to fault you. I just fault Konami for not putting more into it, because they should have. They could have. And I hope they do. So I still have high hopes for Silent Hill 2 Remake. I have high hopes for Metal Gear Delta. I have high hopes for the Volume 2 collection of Metal Gear. I just don't want to see Konami fuck it up, man. That's all. Aaron in the chat says, come on, Microsoft, buy more studios. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're already looking into who they're going to buy next, bro. I don't think you have to worry about that. The Gnat is back for revenge. Dude, I don't know. Where did it even come from? It's all around my monitor right now. Like, I want to smash my monitor, but if I do, I'm going to wreck my whole setup here. It's fucking gnats, dude. Tired of it. We got Matt Thornton. Really appreciate the super chat. You're saying, I don't mean to upset anyone, but seeing how Xbox hasn't had a Game of the Year nomination for over a decade, what could they do to change this? I'll tell you this, man. Okay, now it's trying to get my coffee. Guys, I'm sorry. You're about to see me lose my fucking mind over a gnat here. Almost got it. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to murder this thing. So if I seem a little bit distracted in my conversation here, just know that's why. I'm going to hold its carcass up in front of the camera and show everybody the victory. I think I did scare it away, though, because I think it's gone now. It's going to be a whole timestamp that Devil Shooter's going to have to put. Microsoft not nominated for a Game of the Year. What can they do? What can Microsoft do to change this? You know what they can do? Make better games. I mean, I'm being facetious, obviously, but in all seriousness, what Microsoft can do, like, I want to answer this in a more serious manner. It is, look, just like I said, you have so many studios. You have an ungodly amount of studios. You have an ungodly amount of development talent that can grow. Like, the potential, that's the key word. Microsoft's potential is sky high. This is why Xbox fans are so excited. Omen's got the answer. Omen says Microsoft can buy the Game Awards and give themselves. They could. I bet you, everybody has a number. Everybody has a price. Jeff Keighley has a price. Microsoft's next acquisition is going to be the Game Awards. Oh man, that you know what? I would actually cheer that on because that would be the literal funniest shit to ever happen. Nothing would top that. Nothing would top that. That would be the greatest shit ever. But in all seriousness, what Microsoft has right now and why Xbox fans are so fucking over the moon excited about Xbox right now is it's not about Call of Duty. I don't even know that it's about Starfield. Okay, like Starfield is a great game, fine, whatever, but it came and it went. I'm just being honest, it came and it went, and maybe it has a solid player base, but in terms of just the zeitgeist and being part of that upper echelon, it's not there, and it's fine. Maybe it just wasn't its time. I don't know. It's neither here nor there for me. It's neither here or there for me. The point is, Microsoft has the potential. How do they get Game of the Year contenders? Harness that potential. Realize that potential. Grow your studios. Give them everything they need. Allow creatives to be creative, right? Like, of course, there's certain things you're going to have to follow, and that's fine. Learn from the things that other studios are doing. Like, it's crazy to think right now Microsoft would have a Game of the Year contender if they didn't let Remedy go, if they didn't let Alan Wake go. Alan Wake 2 could have been an Xbox exclusive, and it would have been highly nominated. But they said, nope, we don't want to do anything with you, Remedy. Sorry. And it's moves like that continue to bite Microsoft in the ass. So I don't know what to tell them. Just try to realize your potential. Give these studios more than one chance, obviously. And if you got to manage them, man. I don't know. It's easier said than done. I'm not sitting here saying that I know all the answers. Like, Phil, give me a call. I'll tell you exactly how to get a Game of the Year. I'm just saying, based off of what I see, we see how Nintendo operates. We see how Sony operates. We see how some of these more efficient third-party publishers operate. And it's like, there's a whole nother conversation here, though. Okay, and when I have to bring this up here, the other part of this conversation is people are now bitching about the Game Awards themselves, being like, wow, the Game Awards is a joke. This is bullshit. Mainly pointing out, of course, it's the fact that hold on. I'm trying to get this out of the way here. I'm sorry. It's the fact that Starfield wasn't nominated. It's the fact that Hogwarts Legacy has 0 nominations. I got to call I'll be honest with you, like, I was so focused on Starfield and all of the other nominees that it didn't really sink in where it's like, how the fuck does Hogwarts Legacy have 0 nominations? The gaming industry continues to prove it is a fucking it's a clown show, dude. It is. It's a fucking clown show where it's like, I don't care how you feel about the creator of this IP. Give the fucking credit where it's due. These developers did a phenomenal job with this video game. I'm not saying it has to be Game of the Year. I'm not saying it even deserves to win Game of the Year considering a competition, but 0 nominations, that's a fucking joke. So it makes it a lot harder for me to feel good about Sony getting 13 nominations when I see something like Hogwarts Legacy, which was a phenomenal game, get ignored, just fucking ignored. Just totally like, you're out. You're just out. It's like, you got to be kidding me, man. And I get it. Like, I get that there are people that are on this fucking crusade where it's like, if you even fucking look at a Harry Potter game, or if you even acknowledge that intellectual property, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, no, you're just a fucking weirdo. That's what you are. Like, grow up, okay? Like, there are thousands of people, or hundreds at the very least, that worked on this, that put blood, sweat, and tears into this product, and they did a good job. There's nothing wrong with turning to those people and saying, good work. There's nothing fucking wrong. I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of people always acting like their fucking worlds are crumbling around them because things just don't align with like, it has to be exactly the way I say it needs to be. And if it's not that, my fucking world is crumbling. I'm outraged. Everybody else should be outraged. And then we see dumb shit like this happen where the Game Award nominations come out and it's just nowhere to be found. Fucking Bungie was nominated for the best community award. Are you shitting me? So anyway, long story short, the Game Awards are obviously a joke, but it's okay because you know what? At the end of the day, we're all going to tune in. We want to see what Jeff has to show, and we're going to want to know who won Game of the Year. But it doesn't mean it's not bullshit that Hogwarts Legacy is nowhere to be found, because it should be. Shame on this industry. Shame on this industry. Yeah, I can get behind that as well. Dead by Daylight deserves best ongoing or best community. I agree. Oh, yeah. Dude, Bungie fired their community manager. They have the best community. They have afraid of getting canceled is pathetic. I will say this. I'm not trying to defend Jeff and the Game Awards, but I will say this. I have my opinion. Obviously, I have strong feelings about this, but I also want to acknowledge the fact that I understand this is Jeff's life's work here, and he has to keep the view. He has to keep certain people happy. I don't condone it. I don't. It's dude, this is bullshit. But I do understand why he's gonna just turn and be like, I'm not acknowledging that shit. I'm gonna get my money for my show. I'm going to get my sponsors. I'm going to put on my show, and it's all going to go great. Somebody's going to walk up on stage, steal my mic, cause problems, and it's all going to go great. And if all I need to do in order to make that happen is ignore Hogwarts Legacy, then so be it. And I'm not saying it's him alone. It's not him alone. But the fucking judges and everybody that's involved, it's just messed up. And we have Corey, the legend Landiga, shows up and does what he does best, and he drops a 10 bomb on the community. Corey drops 10 more membership gifts, bringing us up to 21. We are now just 4 members away from hitting our goal. Corey, massive shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for always showing up to these streams and always showing not only me and the channel, but the community such incredible support and such generosity. So guys, let's get some W's in the chat. I already see them flowing. Let's keep them flowing for Corey.
Appreciate it.
That's for you, Corey. Corey gets us up to 21. Again, so close to hitting our goal. Absolutely love to see it, man. Let me add that to the counter. I don't know. I'm hyped up today or something. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the gnat. The gnat's got my adrenaline running. It's got me going. But yeah, in all seriousness, guys, I don't know. We started talking about God, we were talking about Xbox not winning a Game of the Year or getting a Game of the Year nomination, and then we went to Hogwarts Legacy. I'll be real with you guys right now. I don't understand why people are getting so outraged about Starfield not being nominated for Game of the Year. If you are outraged about Starfield not getting Game of the Year nomination, you have to be outraged by Hogwarts Legacy then, right? You have to be. Not saying Hogwarts Legacy is better than Starfield, but in terms of just quality level, come on. And Corey does it again. Corey is keeping this. He does it. He breaks the goal here. He shatters it. He drops another 5 more memberships. Guys, W's in the chat for Corey. He brings us up to 26 members. So you crushed the goal already, which is amazing to see. Thank you guys so much, seriously, for all the support. We have an amazing community here. Amazing support. I love going on these insane caffeine-filled tangents. And I really appreciate that you guys show that type of support, show that type of love. No matter how ranty I get, I will always say you guys are the best. You really are. And Omen86 guys are doing it. They're doing the membership train. They're doing the thing. They're doing the thing. Omen86 drops another 5 memberships for this community. Look at these guys. W's in the chat. Omen says we're going to go beyond the goal. We're going to go to 31. All aboard the member train today. 31 membership gifts. Absolutely love to see it. Corey, Omen, that is for you guys. Amazing stuff. Thank you. Don't insult Hogwarts by comparing it to Starfield. I'm just saying, bro. Look, I'm not I'm not trying to compare them, but you can understand my sentiment, right? Like if you're going to complain that Starfield didn't get acknowledged, you got it. And Starfield did get acknowledged for best RPG. You got to at least acknowledge there's something going on with Hogwarts here. I think it's undeniable. I do. Oh, god damn, Exley. I mean, it's going to have to be rated M then, right? I mean, we're all sitting here thinking Wolverine's going to be rated M, but obviously Spider-Man 3 is going to be rated M. That sounds very concerning to me. Holy shit. Dude, I don't know. You should submit your ideas, actually. You should. Maybe they'll want to work with you. I don't know. Fuck, man. Actually, he's not even holding back anymore in the chat. Dude, I feel like you're like pure chaos for this chat sometimes, bro. But it's kind of funny. I won't lie. All right, I'm getting way off course here. Thank you guys so much, man. So yeah, just to answer your question, Matt, because this has been all over the place. To answer your question, Microsoft has the potential to create Game of the Year contenders. Okay, they have to hone their skill. They have to hone their craft. They have to work on it. They have to work on really growing these studios. And if you want to grow studios to become big AAA powerhouses with prestige around them, you have to look. It requires a certain amount of understanding, a certain amount of skill that I don't feel I'm qualified to even speak on. Because it's not like I'm the one making these PlayStation Studios titles. I'm not the one managing Sony Studios. I'm not the one that's been. No, I'm not. So I don't know exactly, but there's something. My belief is this. My belief is that there has to be something that you can't necessarily quantify, right? Like we can try to quantify it, like, oh, maybe it's this thing specifically, but I think it's something that you can't just throw money at it. You can't just quantify it. You can't just break it down and reverse engineer it. I think it really just requires a certain something. And I think that certain something is if I had to give my best guess, it is having very creative, a group of creative, talented people that are able to work together well, and then having leadership and management that is very good at doing that exact thing, at producing and managing and making sure all these parts are working together perfectly in harmony. That to me, again, that's not something that I think you just wake up one day and say, I got it, I bought it, or I have all these studios, so it's clearly there. I think Microsoft gave themselves the best chance now by having so many studios, by having so many games, right? And IP, but it comes down to the management now at this point, and finding like, okay, who is, where are the diamonds in the rough here? Because they're there. I'm telling you, they're there. And I really want to see if Microsoft can, because you know what? Let me just say this real quick. I know I'm going on a tangent here. I'm going to move on. Team Ninja, not Team Ninja, Ninja Theory with Hellblade 2. Imagine if Ninja Theory was acquired by Sony. What would Hellblade 2, like, how excited would PlayStation fans be for that? I'll tell you right now, flat out, PlayStation fans would be very excited for it. They would, because they would say, wow, this is a first-party Sony studio, and with that, Sony bought a studio that they feel has something special, a diamond in the rough. They're going to work with them. They're going to improve them. And because of that, the sequel to Hellblade is going to be really good. Like, it's going to be that high watermark that we all expect from Sony in their single-player games. That is what Microsoft should be able to deliver with Ninja Theory. I know that there are people who don't like Hellblade 1 or feel like it's lacking, or people who, I'll be honest, I'm very concerned we have yet to see a single sliver of actual combat gameplay, in this game, but I'm still very hopeful for it. I still have a lot of high expectation. I just feel like that's a studio that I know for a fact, if Sony had them, they would deliver a fucking incredible single player AAA experience. And they would sell it for $70 and would probably sell great. All right. Microsoft, let's see. You guys got, I've always said that Hellblade and Ninja Theory, they seem like a studio that I thought, honestly, it would have been Sony that scooped them up. not Microsoft. Microsoft ended up getting them. I admit, yeah, the game's taken a long time to make, but that's why I'm saying Microsoft gave them, what is you're saying it's 8? Oh my God, has it been 8 years? No, that can't be right. 8 years. Is that how long it's been? Either way, it's been a long I know it's been a long time, but holy shit, if that's true, that's a lot longer than I thought. Well, even more to my point, they've been working on this game for a long time. The only thing that can justify that type of development cycle is you got to have a great game. It's got to justify that development time, right? So I think that this is a great opportunity for Microsoft to prove that they have what it takes. But we'll see, man. We'll see. So Matt, thank you for that. We have Ice Reza with a $10 super chat saying Microsoft can sell more consoles than Sony and Nintendo combined if they allowed a light version of Windows to run on the console. Regulators and PC makers would be upset with Microsoft, a cheap PC. Yeah, that's always been kind of the really interesting thing about the Xbox consoles is that Microsoft has always seemingly strayed away from doing that. And maybe it's because of what you're saying, this idea that it would upset regulators because you're making a really cheap PC. You're kind of mixing two different, not even ecosystems, just almost like two different markets to a degree. Like the console market has always been somewhat separate from the PC market. And we know that Microsoft has a stronghold on the PC market because of Windows, and them trying to kind of transform this market by doing something. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds really messy, but you're right. That would change. I don't know. I guess it comes down to like how people would quantify that, right? Because you're saying it basically is a cheap PC because it's running a light version of Windows, then it wouldn't be a console, right? This is what I'm saying. Like they're just two different. It reminds me of the Steam machines, like when Valve created all these different spec'd out, which were basically PCs but kind of marketed as consoles. Like you hook them up to your TV. And it just kind of flopped because I just feel like it was trying to exist in this middle ground that doesn't actually exist. Or at least if it were to exist, people are not necessarily gravitating towards it. So I do think you're right in that they could maybe make a much bigger dent in the console space, but only if it was actually viewed as a console in the first place or counted as one. PlayStation Pete, you're saying, MBG, I have 106 platinum trophies. Whoa, hold on. What happened? PlayStation. I thought you had 67? No, 62 or 63. What happened? How'd you double them? Did I miss something? But either way, if that's true, man, very impressive stuff. Suicide Squad killing Rocksteady. They took 9 years to make essentially a live service game with a battle pass, MTX, always online, and single player with 3 bots. Oh God! Just what I thought. Actually, I thought that was gonna be a clean one, man. I thought that was gonna be a clean one, and I got to the last sentence, and I'm like, oh shit. But no, you are right. Just straight up, dude. I'll be real right now. What the fuck happened to Rocksteady? Talk about falling off hard, man. It's a shame. It really is. And I don't know. I don't even know that I blame them. It could be Warner Brothers with their mandate. I saw this comment where they were like, imagine being so out of touch that after you see success stories like Hogwarts Legacy, that your conclusion is, you know what? I think we got to make more live service games. And I that shit made me laugh out loud because I'm like, yeah, that's WB right now. That's WB where it's like, yeah, Smurf. Okay, I knew. Yeah, good comment, man. That shit made me laugh because it's like, wow. Yeah, that is insanely out of touch. Wonder Woman has to have some live service elements. Yeah, that's going to lead to fucking WB wondering why that game flops. I will say, like, the aesthetic of Suicide Squad actually looks good. Like, graphically, I think I like the art style. I like that they're doing Metropolis. But, man, the entire premise of the game just sucks. I'm not even going to try to pretend like it's cool. I think the entire premise of it sucks, where it's like, what? I don't want to play as the Suicide Squad. Like, you're fucking putting the goddamn Justice League in this game, and you're gonna let me play as these losers? I'm just being honest, man. It's like, I want to fucking play as Superman. I want to play as Green Lantern. I want to play as the Flash. But that's what makes it even crazier is that, well, look, we got these anti-heroes, right? But they all do the same thing. Like, the game is basically, you get guns and you shoot. And I watched the traversal. They're trying to sell you on the traversal aspect of like how you traverse through Metropolis, and it doesn't look bad, but it's like, I saw there's this part where like Harley Quinn is, I guess, I don't know, it looks like she almost has like a batarang or some shit, or a grappling hook, and she uses it, and they're like, they're diving down from the building, and she goes to use it, and it's just like slows down, and I'm like, oh man, this is so bad. Like, if you played Spider-Man 1 or 2 or Miles Morales and you go to this, like, this feels like such an insane downgrade to the traversal. And it's no offense to anybody who's looking forward to this game. It's just, dude, I don't know how you go from the Batman Arkham series to this. What happened? I want to play as Boomerang Man, yes. Oh my God, bro. Like, what are they doing? You could have played as Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, and Batman, but don't you want to play as Boomerang Man? Yes! How'd you know? How'd you know? Yeah, it's very weird, man. Very weird decision making there. Omen86 with another super chat. He says, Sony has plenty of stuff up their sleeves. They simply have no need to stoke the fire. Oversaturation is bad. And it's, in fact, a desperate move. I'll be real with you, Omen. I agree 100%. I do. At this point in time, I am fucking 100% behind you, because it's like, dude, like, this is the way the Xbox fan base just had a meltdown. Not, again, I want to separate, not the Xbox fan base, the radical, dumbass trolls that claim to be Xbox fans. Maybe they actually are, but either way, they're trolls and they're annoying. The meltdown that these imbeciles proceeded to have on the internet over the Game Awards with the whole... dude, I thought you guys were joking about Xbox tax trending. I saw that shit trending 3 times today on my Twitter, and I wasn't even looking for it. It's still fucking trending. I just checked, dude. Gaming trending, Xbox tax. Are you fucking joking? Once I saw this, it made me realize, see, I knew people were going to see how stupid these motherfuckers are at some point. Where it's like, they're just riding a fucking wave that's going to come crashing down. Xbox is going to be fine. Microsoft is going to be fine. Game Pass is going to be fine. Their studios are probably going to be fine. But it's going to fucking crash down on these guys because they're getting way ahead of themselves. I told you guys the pendulum swings, and it came right fucking back and nailed them because they're acting like idiots over Starfield not getting nominated. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this, Omen, is because it makes you realize, dude, this is happening at a time when Sony is coming out and they're like, yeah, we're about to break a record for how many PS5s we're about to sell. Spider-Man 2 is fucking killing it. 4th best-selling game of the year. We're going to have the best holiday season in the history of PlayStation. What Xbox fans should be asking themselves is not why Starfield wasn't nominated for Game of the Year. Why Xbox is still failing to put any pressure on Sony. That's the question Xbox fans should be asking at this point. If you're paying attention, that is. If you're just a regular old consumer that I just like to play on my Game Pass and on my consoles and I don't like to partake, then fine. You don't have to ask any fucking questions. Go enjoy your games. That's what we all want to do at the end of the day anyway. But that's the question that if you're going to be involved in these conversations, you should be asking right now, because I'm seriously asking that question. Like, I thought this was it. I thought this is where Sony, they get the fire lit under the ass, right? Competition's kicking down the door. Sony's shaking their boots. Sony's ain't fucking shaking up. Dude, they're like, yeah, we're going to delay 6 of our games and give them more time because we care about quality. Does that sound like the move that a desperate company would be making? You say Sony has stuff up their sleeves. I've been saying this shit, dude, and people are going to see. Look, man, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's obvious. It is painfully obvious that Sony has shit up their sleeves, but why would they show you? Why would they show their competition when there is literally zero reason to do so? Oh, you think because what? They think because Microsoft closed their acquisition, that means Sony should panic and take a shotgun approach and we got to show it all. I've been saying I want a roadmap. I do. I obviously, as a fan, I want to know. If it was up to me, I'd have Sony tell me every single thing they're doing. If it was up to me, I would tell Sony, let me know every single project every single studio is working on, but it's not up to me. So if I'm being more realistic about it, taking a step back and I'm realizing, dude, these guys are fucking murdering it right now with no competition in sight. Yeah, I think they're just going to bide their time, right? Like they're just going to enjoy this holiday season. And you know what? If we're lucky, and I think we are going to get lucky, we're going to get a little something at the Game Awards. Dude, I need to know why people are out here acting like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth isn't a big fucking deal. Why? Like, that to me is the most baffling. Like, I can understand the hate towards Spider-Man. Generally, I get it. Like, I understand there are things in that game that are going to piss some people off. And if you're an Xbox troll, you're loving it. I get it. But what is up with people acting like Rebirth isn't about to fucking kick the goddamn door down come Feb in just a couple months? People are out here talking about, oh man, fucking Sony in 2024, what are they going to do? You know what they're going to do? They're going to fucking have one of the, I guarantee you, a Game of the Year contender in the second month of the year launching on their console exclusively. That's what they're about to do. And that's not even counting any of the other games. That to me is the weirdest shit that I've seen so far. Once the Rebirth marketing starts, they'll realize, you know what I think it'll be? I don't even think it's going to be the marketing. It's going to be the reviews, man. It is. And I'm not trying to call the game too early, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Rebirth is going to review exceptionally well. And I think it's just going to be another situation where, man, we are only 2 months into this year and we already have a Game of the Year contender. So, I don't know, man. Wild times. Omen, you got me going, bro. I bet you Omen was not prepared for this response to a super chat, but it's because I'm right there with you, man. I have my moments where I have some doubts with Sony. I do. I have some doubts with Sony. I have some doubts with PlayStation. You know, it's normal. If you're a fan of something, it's like watching a sports team occasionally. You know, you're gonna question some things. It's just the way of the world. But generally speaking, when I take a step back and I look at things through a less insane lens, even though I sound insane today. Look, I'll just be real with you guys. I have fucked off of X, Twitter. Okay, I fucked off. I've just abandoned that platform. I just want to see what would happen. I just want to see. What if I just don't go on this website? Like, I mean, I go on sometimes, like if I'm streaming or if I'm, I need to get some info for a video or some shit, but I wanted to see. And god damn, let me tell you, that place, I'm not trying, I'm just going to say that place, I think, breeds mental illness, dude. It does. It's not good. It's not fucking good. Because the level of clarity that I've been experiencing ever since I decided to uninstall this fucking application and just be done with it is like, oh my God. Like, it's almost, dude, I'm telling you, it fucks up your perception of real life badly. Like, badly. And I can't speak for other social media, like Instagram, and I don't use that stuff, but I've heard that Twitter's basically the worst. And oh man, I believe it. I believe it 100%. Like, I was, the first couple days felt weird to me because I'm like, this is abnormal for me. Like, I'm used to always, got to check in. What's the word, going around right now? What's happening? And I haven't been doing that. I mean, still been going on like Reddit and stuff a little bit. But as the weeks have gone by, I'm like, dude, this is I don't know, man. You just see things differently. So it's been a good time. Every tweet is about it. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I tried to get involved in that. And I'm not like, look, I don't want to sit here and say I'll never go back. I mean, or never tweet again or anything, but I tried to get involved with that where I was like, okay, Elon Musk, he wants to monetize Twitter. He's he's making it so people can try to make a couple bucks on this platform. And I'm like, okay, well, let me give it a shot. And I had a pretty good run there for a little while where I was trying to see like, okay, like what can I expect from this? I had like posts, dude, I had like a Jim Ryan post that got 1.7 million impressions, which is pretty fucking good. Like, I was getting some like hit tweets here and I was like, wait, okay, well, let's see what the payout is. Because I'm telling you, like, in order for me to justify being on this, like, I need this website to pay me at this point to be on it because this place fucking sucks. Talking about Twitter and X. Okay, like, it's just too toxic. Dude, I got my payment notification. Congratulations, MBG. $14 has just been distributed to your fucking X account. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, listen, I didn't expect much at all. I thought it was going to be low. I was like, that is crazy. $14. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll take the $14, but I'm taking it and I'm done. Like, fucking A. I could not believe that shit. That blew my mind where I was like, this is, what do you need? What kind of numbers? Yeah, it's enough for maybe McDonald's for myself. If I want to get it for me and my wife, that still ain't even enough. Fuck, maybe it's enough for like some toilet paper. Yeah, nice big bundle of toilet paper. Oh, that was crazy. Yeah, I could subscribe to Game Pass for like a month. A Happy Meal. Dude, and look, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I kind of knew, like, unless they're going to tell me, like, we're paying you hundreds of dollars for your tweets, which I wasn't expecting that, but unless that's what the result was going to be, I'm like, there's no way I'm putting up with this shit. And I was just like, this isn't worth it. So, I experimented. I figured it was worth a try. And I don't regret it. I mean, I have like 64,000 followers. So I was like, let's just see where we go. But that's fucking crazy. Yeah, you know what? I did see, you're saying some people post entire podcasts on Twitter. Yeah, I could see a future for Twitter or X where like I see what Elon Musk is trying to do, and it makes sense. Like, you want to make it an all-encompassing platform where you can do everything there. But I'm telling you, man, like there's something in the DNA of Twitter. There's something that's been just, you can't change it. It can't do anything about it. Like there's just some type of toxic, I don't know, encoding in their DNA, in that website's DNA that will never go away. And yeah, but maybe that's just my own perception of it. Saying Tucker's on X and killing it. Oh yeah, that's true. Well, we'll see what ends up happening with it. But I spent a lot of time on that website, too much time, and I don't know. If I felt like it was worth it, obviously I'd stay on it. But at the end of the day, I just kind of realized like, dude, this is just not, it's just bad. It just felt like it was bad for me. You know what I mean? And I was just like asking myself, like, I eat unhealthy food at times. We all do things that are like technically bad for us, right? But at some point we all kind of stop and say like, do you want to just keep doing that bad thing? Or are you going to, no, most people are like, I want to stop this. Like, I know this isn't good for me. So I'm going to kind of like back off of it and find a different way or something, And I feel like Twitter for me just basically became that. So. Yeah, yes, dude. Oh my God. MVG, you're going to go mad engaging with Xbox. You know what? Listen, this is the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to move on because I'm behind in these super chats, and I apologize. Thank you guys for being patient. You're fucking right. Listen, man, like, the biggest lie that the internet convinces you of is that you can win. That's the biggest lie. There is no winning on the internet. There's either you say what you say and you leave it alone, or you engage with anything thinking you can win. And there's just no winning, dude. And that's just because, I don't know, as I noticed maybe it's always been like this, but I've been on the internet for a long time. It just seems like these days, it really is like, you pick your side and that's that. And the people tune in and some people engage, and it's not that there isn't any positivity. There is. I mean, there's positivity here, right? But it's like once you see that one blemish, I guess you could say, and you think, oh, I should probably do something about that. Like, no. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because the moment you do, you already lost. You automatically lose. So, yeah, the shit I've seen people say, oh man, I'm telling you, like I said, it breeds mental illness, bro. You cannot let yourself get fucked. And I've let myself get roped into this shit. Dude, I felt like fucking Alan Wake in the dark place, bro. Twitter's the dark place. Shit loops, shit lies. All right. Yes, and I want to speak to what Jake's saying here. He says, Jakey Steve says, you ain't missing shit on socials, MBG. I just want to say this too. As somebody, like, dude, I actually have an incentive to keep up with this stuff, to talk to you guys on the streams and make videos. I have a real incentive to keep my finger on the pulse as much as I can. The biggest thing that I was afraid of is, man, am I going to miss stuff? Right? The most ironic thing is the day that I decided to actually uninstall Twitter and I actually spent 2 days, I'm not even going to check the internet. I just spent 2 days not looking at anything. That was literally the day that GTA 6, the next GTA trailer was announced, and when I came back, I was like, no fucking way. At first, I was like, are you shitting me? I decide to finally take a little break, and this is what happens? At least it wasn't a PlayStation Showcase announcement. But after I kind of let it sink in that, okay, that announcement happened, and people are losing their minds over it, but it's but how did that affect you? And then I realized, it didn't at all, actually. I would have learned about this the next day and talked about it then. You know what I mean? So it just kind of, you get trained and conditioned to think you always got to be right there as things are happening. But in reality, it's you don't, and you're really probably not missing much. And, obviously I want people to tune into my streams and watch my content, but I also know that there are plenty of people who can't make it live, and they enjoy the streams just as much when they're able to watch them, on their own time. That's just the way it is, man. So, sorry, that was way long-winded. I did not mean to go on that long about that topic, but yeah, the FOMO is real, bro. Actually, it's not. That's what I'm trying to say. They want you to think the FOMO is real, but it's really not. You're not missing out on anything. Life, it turns out at the end of the day, And no offense, if you are somebody who feels like you have a very interesting life and you do find life very interesting, no offense, but I have discovered as I get older, life isn't that interesting. Like a lot of times I feel like people want to go out of their way to make it more interesting than it has to be. And I think that's another thing the internet's very good at doing. So, Xbox tax. See, perfect example. Xbox tax. Let's talk about the fucking Xbox tax. Can you believe this shit? Xbox is treated unfairly. The fuck out of here, bro. Like, who is really saying that shit? Like, imagine witnessing Microsoft buy Activision Blizzard and Bethesda and having the fucking balls to go on your fucking socials and say, that fucking Xbox tax, though. Like, dude, please, just stop. God, it is insanity. It is literal insanity. Arnie Vesper says, Baldur's Gate 3 is also going physical. Kept me waiting. I did see that. And I'm really happy to see that because a game like Baldur's Gate 3, a game this big, this successful, it absolutely deserves a, wow, I gotta turn my light on. It 100% deserves a physical release. Give me a second while I turn this on because I didn't realize how dark it was getting. Oh, no. Where am I at here? Okay. I think that helped a little bit. Reposition that. There we go. Sorry about that. Wow, I feel like my light really didn't help that much. I just turned it on. I thought it would have... Whatever. I got to figure that out too. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 deserves a physical release. Alan Wake 2 deserves it. All AAA games, frankly, should have a physical release. Indie games, I can understand, but if you're a AAA studio or putting out a AAA product, you got to give it a physical release. I think you're crazy if you don't. I think you're just hurting your sales potential if you don't. So, Baldur's Gate 3 on Game Pass? Yeah. No, I doubt it. No, I don't think so. That would be a pretty big get for Microsoft, and I don't think Microsoft is interested in paying what they would probably ask for at this point. We have Domingo813 saying, admitted MBG, you are a fanboy. All you do is slander the Soulja Boy consoles. If Microsoft acquires the SB console, PS is done. I apologize. I know. My fanboy nature has really been coming out lately. I just can't stop myself from completely wrecking the fucking Soulja Boy console. Was that ever really a thing, though? I've seen people talk about that in the past, and obviously you're bringing it up here. Was that that wasn't a real thing? I remember the KFC console. Does anybody remember that? Oh, man. I apologize, Domingo. Thank you for the super chat. We have Michael Lynch who says, should have said more reliable than Japanese cars. Honda, Toyota, and Subaru. BMWs are in the shop all the time. Damn, Omen, what were you really trying to say, man? What were you really trying to say about my content? That is funny to think, though. I heard, so yeah, I mean, I have a friend who's really, really, really into cars, and he swears by Subaru. Like, he loves Subaru. Everything Subaru. And, I mean, he I'm like pretty indifferent to it, where I'm just like, they're probably all good in some way, but I'm not much of a car person, so I'm not sure. But Michael, I gotta do it to him. I gotta do it to him. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I just gotta do it. You're talking about cars. I just want to point out that on the NPD, Forza flopped. I don't. Did anybody notice this? Now, to me, this is fascinating because Forza is supposed to be a big seller for Xbox. Forza landed at the number 17 spot on the top 20. Number 17, that's bad. Like, just straight up, that's bad. But what was crazier to me is the Crew Motorfest actually outsold it. Now, I understand the Crew's like multi-plat, but shit, dude. Forza's supposed to, I mean, that's like a brand name, man. Like, that is a established, like a well-established franchise. It's on Game Pass, I know. But the real reason I'm mentioning this is because it's just interesting timing where my friend recently told me, like, he was the one, I have not paid any attention to Forza. My friend was the one who, and he's a big Forza fan, who told me that, dude, Forza Motorsport is a fucking disaster. And I was like, dude, you're trolling me. He's like, no, I'm serious. And he's like an Xbox player and he loves Forza. And I was like, really? And just seeing that it charted so low, I was like, man, I don't know, man. You would think that if there was any game that would just have a level of consistency sales wise, it would be that, but I don't know. I was surprised to see it at 17. I was surprised to see that the Crew Motorfest actually outsold it. That's Game Pass effect, I guess. All right, let me see. You're saying, no joke, the hubcaps have pop-ins? Just play GT7 on VR2. I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with GT7. I'm not big into GT. I'm not really big in the racing games, but I played GT7 in VR2, and it is fucking insane. It is. Yeah, I've heard really, really good things about the new GT7 update. I have. Don't know if it's enough to get me to kind of, get... I feel like... See, the thing about GT that's tough to me is, like, I'm just not a car person. Like, I've enjoyed Forza Horizon in the past, but it's because I realized that I just kind of enjoy these more arcade-like experiences rather than the more sophisticated, sim experiences. I got to see the movie too. Yeah, people have said the movie's really good. But we have Cypherpunk here with the super chat, and he says, Microsoft don't care about the Game Awards or achievements, only trying to grow subs. That is true. I did say this on my last stream that Microsoft doesn't care at all. They don't give a shit, frankly, about these awards. There's no reason for them to, because they know what they're doing out here. Like, they know they're in it to win it in terms of, big business, big money, owning big IP, and that's fine. But it's just, I mean, that it is what it is. I do not feel sorry for Microsoft not having a Game of the Year contender this year in Starfield, for the simple fact that, listen, man, as far as I'm concerned, like, I haven't played every single game that is nominated for Game of the Year. I played half of them. I played RE4. I played Spider-Man 2. I played Alan Wake 2. I didn't play any of the Nintendo games, and I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3. But as far as I can tell, all of those games, in some way, shape, or form, are more deserving. I would say you should probably replace... I'm just going to be real right now, man. You should probably replace Resident Evil 4 with Hogwarts. I'm just saying, like, Resident Evil 4, to be clear, is one of my favorite games of all time. One of the best games I played all year. And I would actually be happy to see it win Game of the Year because I love Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil 4. But even a game like Hogwarts Legacy is more deserving than Starfield is. It just is. I just don't understand, like, why people are freaking out so much, making it seem like, I don't know. Yeah, I think Hogwarts Legacy is still the number one best-selling game of the year too. Really interested to see if Call of Duty actually. I mean, you think it would. You would think Call of Duty will be the the one. Yeah, Final Fantasy 16 is more deserving than both of them, in my opinion. It is truly a shame that Final Fantasy 16 didn't get up there. But I just got to give credit to these games, man. Like, I mean, again, I can't speak to... I see somebody in my chat saying they don't think Mario deserves to be up there. I can't speak to that. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to. I mean, from what I've seen of Mario, it seems like the quality level is undeniable from what I can tell. Like, just the level of sheer quality, like, is just unmatched in terms of, like, we're doing a platformer and we're going to do it better than anybody. I mean, it's fucking Nintendo. It's Mario. I'm not surprised. Zelda, I mean, it speaks for itself, obviously, as well. So this is what I'm saying, dude. Like, this is the shit that Microsoft has to compete with. You're not just, like, it's not even just Sony and Nintendo anymore. Sony has a Game of the Year contender up there with Spider-Man 2. Nintendo has 2 Game of the Year contenders. There's only 3 more spots. Now Microsoft has to contend with all of these third parties. Shit's not easy. It's not. Maybe one day. Man, I'm telling you, man, Hellblade 2 has to be it. I'm telling you now, if Hellblade 2 can't do it, nothing else will do it. I believe that. Maybe I'm putting way too much faith into this upcoming Xbox game, but if fucking Hellblade can't do it, then at that point, the best bet Microsoft has at that point is probably the Elder Scrolls 6, like 7 years from now or something. So, is Alan Wake 2 truly Game of the Year material? It's a tough one. I mean, I could understand why anybody from a gameplay perspective would say, I don't know if Alan Wake 2 should be nominated for Game of the Year, but I gotta say this about Alan Wake 2. I know that, again, there are some people that don't like it. I gotta say that, like, it is doing some things very differently in a like, it's just approaching the way it's telling the story in a different way than what I feel like I've ever experienced in a game before. And it's tough, man, because there are people who are going to say it's a walking sim. It's just not fun. And I can understand, like, I can see why people would say that. Like, it is very basic combat and it's, you know, there's a lot of puzzles, but like, from my experience, I've played the game. I understand why it's nominated for Game of the Year. But again, if you were to take, I think Final Fantasy 16 is way more deserving than Alan Wake 2, straight up. Just straight up. Like, and that's coming from somebody I've enjoyed Alan Wake 2. But dude, FF16 is way more deserving. Frankly, if any one game had to be pulled for Final Fantasy 16 to replace it with, it's a top. I don't know. For me, I would have to say Alan Wake 2. I'm tempted to say RE4 because it's a remake, but I can't deny, dude, I cannot deny RE4 is fucking incredible. I can't deny it. Like, I know it's a remake, but it is fucking stellar. And it's like, they murdered with this game. But, yeah. What are you going to do? Yeah, I agree with that, Kendall Fire. The game design of Alan Wake 2, it is very unique. Like, I think that scores a lot of points with the judges and whatnot who make these decisions where they're like, they take into account like certain innovations that are being brought to the table. I will tell you, one of the things I do not like about Alan Wake 2, not to be too harsh on it, but one of the things I do not like about Alan Wake 2 is the when you have to do the case board. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Like, at first I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then I realized how much you have to do that throughout the game. And I'm like, oh, come on. It's painful at some point. I'm going to read this super chat really quick just because it's very relevant to what we're talking about. And I'll keep rolling down the line here. Goldcast says, MBG, how can you say that you can't speak on Mario because you haven't played it, but you can speak on Starfield and you haven't played it as well. Well, the main reason I'm saying that is because when I say I can't speak to Mario, it's because I'm totally on the outside. I don't know anything about Mario. I haven't watched any reviews. I haven't listened to anybody talk about it. Like, the most I've come across are people in my chat saying that it's really, really good and it's one of the best platformers. Now, maybe because of that, I'm in a little bit of a bubble where it's like, maybe it's not as good as people are making it sound. But I see the review scores. I see it reviewed incredibly well. It's sold incredibly well. It's fucking Mario. And people are saying it's phenomenal. So I'm like, okay, well, that's all I need to know. Starfield is a very different situation where, yes, I may not have played it, but I have looked into it. Like, I have been paying close attention to it, listening to reviews, I've actually, not lately, but a couple weeks after launch, I noticed more videos popping up of people being very negative towards Starfield, where they're like, let me tell you like why this game isn't actually that good. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Like, are people just choosing to hate on this game now, or do they actually have good reasons? Like, what is going on? It seems like the more time people spend with it, the more they realize like it's just, I don't know. In some ways, it just didn't live up. And truth be told, the reason why I'm so focused on Starfield is not because I give a single shit about that game or whether it's good or not. It's because, dude, it's the shit again that I'm just kind of seeing it. Even though I'm not on Twitter, I'm seeing it on YouTube. I'm seeing it in comment sections. I'm seeing it on Reddit, where it's like, these Xbox dudes are freaking the fuck out. And it's like, I'm like, I don't know what to, I'm at a loss where it's like, the game is at an 83 on Metacritic, which if this was a down year, it probably would have been nominated, but it's this was a game that was hailed as fucking game of the generation. It's going to be a game of the generation. Like, what the, so the way people are talking about Mario is exactly what I expect, right? Where it's like, it's Nintendo. It's extremely high quality. It's doing things better than like almost any other publisher in this specific genre, right? It's getting incredible review scores and it's selling incredibly well. It's like, well, fuck, man, it's checking off every single box. If Starfield checked off every box, I want to remind people, my prediction for Starfield's Metacritic was a fucking 93. 10 points higher. That's actually what I expected. That's how good I expected the game to be based off of the way people were talking about it. So I get it, man. Like, what I can only speak to a limited extent about Starfield. Like, I would not tell anybody, don't play Starfield because here's what I have to say about it. I would never fucking say that. Like, dude, I haven't played it. Go play it for yourself. Go try it through Game Pass. But it's just that I feel pretty confident in my evaluation of, Mario, the latest Mario game that just came out, that's up for Game of the Year, and Starfield, which isn't up for Game of the Year, but people are having meltdowns because it's not. I have not seen a single video cross my fucking feed where people are coming out being like, the new Mario game actually isn't that good. I've seen that for Spider-Man 2. And I've listened to some of that, and I'm in agreement with some of the points that people make. I don't necessarily feel that Spider-Man 2 is a game that shouldn't be nominated for Game of the Year, but I'll tell you this right now, and I'm being 100%. If Final Fantasy 16 took the place of Spider-Man 2, I'd be totally fine with that. I'd be like, yup, no problems here. But it's just Spider-Man 2, I guess, people, it did review well, it was a quality game. Maybe you don't like everything it was doing, but some of the, messaging and whatnot, I guess. But it was a quality game nonetheless. So it's a good question, man. It's a fair question. But at the end of the day, dude, like, I feel like I have a much better understanding of what Starfield is thanks to all of the people who told me it was going to be this. And then after it came out, all of the people basically coming out and saying it's actually not that. Like, it's not like a dumpster fire or a fucking horrible like Redfall situation, but it's definitely not what some of those guys were saying it was going to be. A victim of overhype, Perfect. And sometimes I'm sure that happens to Sony too at times. Maybe even with Spider-Man 2. Some people would maybe say Spider-Man 2 is a victim of overhype, but I don't know, man. I've said this. You can complain. You can take shots at Spider-Man 2 for maybe playing it too safe, but you can't take shots at Spider-Man 2 for like lacking that quality factor. Yeah, it was a little bit buggy, of course, and maybe that for some people is problematic, and I get that, but at the end of the day, man, like as far as I can tell, it's just Insomniac kind of living up to their pedigree, which is they produce high quality games at a fucking insanely rapid rate. And I think that says something. And we have another legend returning. Exley has been here the whole time and decided, you know what? Time to drop the 5. He drops 5 more membership gifts onto this community, bringing us up to 36 members, guys. The goal was 25. And as you can see, we have now just made it up to 36. Good shit, dude. Exley, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate the consistent support. Exley is always here as well. Another legend, always engaging with the community, maybe being a bit chaotic at times, but absolutely showing incredible support. Why is it so dark? Guys, look at how dark. Look at this. Look at that shit. Is that just on my end? I'm gonna have to start. I'm gonna have to do something because that's getting a little out of hand. Like I'm starting to get into the shadows here. The duality, the light, the dark. I'll fix that in just a second. And I see Omen 86 drops another membership gift as well. He's keeping the membership train going. Omen 86 gets us up to 37, guys. 3 away from 40. If we make it to 40, we're 10 away from actually doubling the goal. Good shit, guys. Absolute. Oh, what is that? Nope. Sorry. Thought I saw the gnat. Almost snapped again. Almost just smashed my hand down on my phone. We have Josh McGill. Dude, you guys are keeping this train going. I'm going to have to change the lighting because the darkness is consuming me. Josh McGill comes in and he drops 5 more membership gifts as well. And Corey, the legend Landiga, drops another 10 bomb. Another 10 bomb. We just doubled the goal. You guys are fucking insane. Absolutely incredible. You guys are amazing. I cannot thank you enough. Look at that. And Omen drops another one. He drops another gift. All aboard the member train, guys. To all those who donated super chats, I just want to give you a big shout out as well because you guys have been waiting patiently. Don't worry. You know how it goes. If you donated a super chat and I haven't read it, I am going to read it. I'm just taking my good old time. So thank you guys for bearing with me. But W's in the chat. Guys, we are at 53 members. Absolutely destroying, obliterating. No mercy. No mercy. Let me actually update it this way here. I'm going to keep the goal the same so you guys can always see how far. I think it's just better that way. You can always see how far ahead you are from the actual goal. I think it looks more impressive. There we go. 53 members, guys. Corey, thank you so much for another 10 bomb, dude. I think that's like 20 memberships gifted in total, which is incredible. And Omen keeping it going. Josh, actually, all you guys, Hellbound. We have amazing community members. And I just want to make sure to always give you guys the credit you deserve because, as I say, I am fan funded here. Oh my, I am Shems. I'm sorry, I'm losing my grip here, man. Shems drops another membership gift. He drops another membership gift. And then on top of that, Omen drops another. 2 more. Guys, 55. 55 members. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I cannot thank you guys enough. Seriously, I know I'm going on and on here, and we are going to get back to the conversations, but I just have to thank you guys so much because you are the sponsors of the channel. If you donate a super chat, if you drop a membership, it's because of you guys we are able to keep this thing going. And I'm seriously forever grateful for that, man, because I love this. I love this community. I love hanging out with you guys. Exley just brought us up to 60, bro. Exley's going crazy. You're all going crazy. I'm going crazy because I have a fucking light. Guys, there's a light in front of me. And it gets so dark. With the way I'm acting today, people probably think I'm on like drugs or something. They're like, damn it, MBG, what did you take before your stream? I'll tell you right now, too much caffeine. Too much caffeine. See, this is the cup. This is my third cup. See how big this cup is? Yeah, I filled it up way too much. All right. Filled it up way too much. And we have, dude, Omen. Oh my God. You guys are going nuts. You guys are going nuts. Omen drops another 5. Exley drops 5. Omen drops another 5. That's another 10 bomb on this community. That's another 10 memberships gifted. 65 memberships. Incredible. Dude, thank you guys. We know you are straight edge, MBG. It may not seem like it at times because I act so insane. People probably think I'm like doing coke or something before the fucking stream. No, I am about as straight edge as you can get, though. Caffeine is the worst thing that I consume. And Drive By Joe. Drive By Joe dropping a membership gift.
Holy
66.
shit.
He did it. You did the thing. 66. Oh my God. 66. I just had to leave. I got to see what the lighting looks like now. Look at that. That's insanity. I had both of my window curtains open, and it looked like I was being consumed by the fucking shadows with natural sunlight coming in. Oh, you can still... Okay. Ignore that. Had to just fix it. 66 members, guys. Oh, how did we get here? Did I get up to go fart? No, I wouldn't have to get up to go do that. No, I wouldn't. Let's get this to 69. If you want to get it to 69, I'm not going to stop you, but 66. 66. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop here. I know I'm broken record. I'm going nuts just thanking over and over again. I need to get to these super chats because I'm really behind. So we have Michael Lynch. Michael Lynch says, whenever you think about going back to Sekiro, something really helpful would be to YouTube combat tips or how to play. Well, you know, if you watch my... Look, I don't know. My gameplay that's out there, by the way, my gameplay that's out there, like the first hour and a half of me playing it, I don't know if I was doing good or not. I think people were saying I was doing pretty good. So I don't know. That's the thing. That's why I'm not sure it's a skill thing as much as it's just... I just think that the game, I feel like it's asking too much of me, man. I feel like it is. But if I do, Michael, if I go back, I will try to keep that in mind. YouTube combat tips. I probably would have... Yeah, I probably could have been helped out a lot if I did that. But I see we have Angry Whale Watcher. Angry Whale Watcher comes in. Nice profile pic there. Drops a membership gift. Corey Landiga drops one. And Omen86 to round it off. 69 members. 69 members. I'm not going to ask for W's in the chat. You know what I'm going to ask for now. You know what I'm going to ask for in the chat. You can give W's if you want. But we did it. We did it. Guys, I'm about to start making 69 the goal every time. Not saying we have to hit it. But just so we know, like that is the goal. That is the goal. Incredible. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. We had a goal today. We had a mission that was to get to 69 members, and we did it. We did it. Good stuff, guys. We have, let's see here. Planet Schlorpian says people would flip if HWL was a Game of the Year nominee. Let's be honest. So if Hogwarts Legacy was a Game of the Year nominee, saying people would flip, let them fucking flip then, dude. That's what I say. Like, let them flip. I would want to see it nominated just to see people flip, because it's like, come on, man. Come on. A good game is a good game is a good game. A great game is a great game is a great game, is what I should say, since we're talking about Game of the Year nominees. You're absolutely correct, though. It is pretty obvious at this point why. See, that's the thing. You're saying if it was nominated for Game of the Year, you're saying people would have flipped. But that's the thing. It wasn't nominated for jack shit. If it was nominated, I want to know, would people flip if it was nominated for anything? For anything. That would be sad. That'd be very sad, because it's still a very good game. And Omen 86, he cannot stop himself, guys. Omen 86 cannot stop himself. He drops another membership, and I know he had to. He couldn't stop it. He needs us to get to 70. As much as he loved seeing that 69, he had to get to the 70, and boom, he does it. He does it. I appreciate it, man. I do. Again, guys, we're 5. I'm just saying, we're 5 away from tripling. We're damn near tripled the goal. Thank you so much. That's this community right there, man. Always showing up. Always showing up strong. We have Dark Horse with the $10 super chat, who says, look, if we're going to be real, I hate when I hear people say Starfield came in and went. Starfield has been the only thing that has been coming out of constantly from media and PlayStation fanboys. That's fair, Dark Horse. I get it. Look, maybe saying it came and went isn't the best way to put it. I guess what I mean to say, you're right. Let's separate it. Starfield didn't come and go because people are still playing it. We're still talking about it. It's still part of the conversation. I think what I just mean to say is Starfield simply, it wasn't everything it was said to be. It just didn't live up to it. And I think even most people could agree with that as well. And we have Corey, the legend Landiga. He does it. He does it. He drops 5 more. Corey has been donating so many gifts today, and he drops 5 more for this community, getting us to 75. You guys tripled it. You tripled the goal. I asked you, guys, can we get to 25 today? And you said, no, MBG, we can't get to 25 because we're going to 75. Actually, my bad. My bad. We're at 80. We're at 80 because Omen can't stop either. You guys are nuts. Absolute insane member train. Insane member train. Guys, 80 members.
Holy
mind blown, dude. Mind blown. I know. I got to get to these supers. I'm sorry. But huge shout out to you guys. Those of you gifting, those of you keeping that train rolling, showing your support, you are the sponsors. Those of you with the super chats that I'm failing to get to, you're the legends. You are. Dark Horse, that's fair, man. I can accept that. Starfield didn't come and go. It's going to be played for many years. It's going to be supported for many years. Maybe that is an unfair way to phrase it. So what I will say is Starfield is still here, but at the end of the day, I think it was a victim of overhype. And I don't necessarily blame people for wanting to be hyped. I think it did live up to a certain amount of that hype, but I just think, man, of all the years for Starfield to come out, this was a year, man. I think we can agree on that, Dark Horse, that this year was fucking crazy for games, for game quality. And what are you going to do about that, you know? What are you going to do? So, Dark Horse, either way, man, I do appreciate the $10 super chat. It's very kind of you. We also have Corey Landiga, which I'm sorry, man, I missed your super chat here. You're saying dream announcement, Metal Gear Solid 1 Full Remake. Now, I would love to see that too, Corey. But my question is, how would that work exactly? Right? Because I feel like what people are realizing when they're going back and playing Metal Gear Solid 1 right now, you know, the original version through the Master Collection, I think they're kind of realizing that it's a pretty short game. Like, I don't know that it holds up to today's standards of what the expectation is for a AAA game. So I'm not entirely sure how they would change that, if they would expand some areas, if they would add some stuff. If they did, they would likely piss a lot of people off. So I'm thinking if Konami decided to do a full-blown, from the ground up remake, like Metal Gear Solid Delta style of MGS1, I don't know that they could get away with selling it for $70, because, you know what, let me double check here. How long does MGS1 take to complete? It says MGS1, oh wow, never mind. It says, when focusing on the main objectives, Metal Gear Solid is about 11 and a half hours in length. My bad. Why? Hold on, what am I thinking of then? I didn't realize Metal Gear Solid was that long. Yeah, I take that back. Man, I must have some gaps in my memory. You see, Corey, that's what I'm saying. I feel like, I just looked up, it says 11 and a half hours. Is that true? Am I losing? No, that can't. I feel like that's not correct. Main story, rushed, says 7 hours. Holy. All right, hold on. Now I'm very confused. With the cutscenes, yeah, maybe that's why I'm getting all fucked up. Speedrun, yeah. Well, let me ask you guys, because I know some of you did buy the Master Collection. Is there anybody in the chat right now that recently bought the Master Collection and actually played MGS1? I know I'm confusing MGS1 with Call of Duty. With Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's campaign. But is there anybody in the chat that purchased this collection and replayed MGS1? Robert, you're saying yes. How long did it take you, roughly? And Steve, let us know. Let us know, because I don't know. Damn, is this like some kind of Mandela effect going on here, where we're all like, oh yeah, it's like 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours. Robert, you're saying 9 hours? Interesting. Okay. 8 hours for the original Metal Gear Solid. Really? Yeah, I don't know where I'm getting this from then. $10 hours with taking your time. All right, well, so let me ask you guys this. If it takes anywhere between 8 and 10 hours, give or take, right? Do you think they could remake that game from the ground up and sell it for $70 on PS5? Because now I want to see. Yeah, I knew MGS3 was longer. MGS3, it says here, takes about 16 hours. Closer to 24 hours if you want to get 100%. Yeah, I knew MGS3 was a longer game, but they're actually closer than I expected. You guys are saying yeah? I mean, straight up, I would buy it for $70. I guess I'm just wondering if the market, if they, like when we hear it's like, because you see how people get with like Ratchet and Clank, right? Like, oh, you could be like Ratchet and Clank in like 12 hours if you like rush it, I guess. I mean, it took me like 20 hours. 25 hours, I think, to get to platinum. So it's like, you know, people are already complaining about that. I mean, I think it's fine. I think we need that. I think people need to be more willing to embrace, like, you know, 10 to 12 to 15 hour AAA games. Like, because the thing about Metal Gear Solid 1 is, okay, if they remake it and you can beat it in like 9 hours or something. But God, the quality of those 9 hours. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I'd pay $70 for that. Uncharted 2 is 10 hours. That's what I mean, man. Cypherpunk, you're saying Hellblade 1 only came out 6 years ago. LOL, not so not 8 years of development for 2. Okay. You see, I know I'm really late to this super chat, but yeah, some people were saying it was 8 years. I knew it was a long time, but that, I gotta say, 6 years of development for the sequel, that's a long ass time, dude. Like, I'm really curious to see what kind of strides. I do expect that they've made some pretty significant strides from the first one. That's like a full AAA game development cycle right there. Sorry, guys, had to let lay out again. All right, let me see here. So, Cypherpunk, thank you for correcting that. We have PlayStation Pete with a $2 chat. He says, cars in the shop for 3 weeks. Damn, dude, 3 weeks. What kind of work you getting done? That's a long time. That's gonna be a. It always sucks when your vehicle's in the shop, you know. Such an inconvenience. But I'm sorry to hear that. I'm assuming it's like, I don't know, maybe it's in the shop for like you're willingly putting it in the shop to get some work done. Oh, like, I don't know, maybe it is something bad though. Head gasket, yeah, I don't know. PlayStation Pete, you have to let us know, man. Wait, I'm laughing though. Is that why? Hold on, I'm trying to put it together here. PlayStation Pete said he has 106 platinums. And I think he like doubled his platinums in the past week or two. Is this what you're, is there a connection here? You stop, I don't know, maybe you drive for a living or something? Or you, I don't know. I'm just trying to connect the dots where there aren't any. But either way, PlayStation Pete, I appreciate it. We have Omen86 saying, MBG is losing it. Love this shit. Yeah, you got me going. Omen, you got me going, bro. I kind of look like Post Malone. Okay, now that's a first. That's a first, bro. Can anybody vouch for that? Do I look like Post Malone? That is funny as hell. I look a bit offended. No. I think it's just mainly because Post Malone, he has a lot of face tattoos, you know? So it's like, I mean, I guess maybe we do. Who is Post Malone? You know, interestingly enough, a couple weeks ago, I'm not a fan of Post Malone, and by that I mean I just don't listen to his music. I've come across his music and it was like okay, I never had a problem with it, but I noticed like he's kind of in the like rock, like, you know, Alice in Chains and stuff. He covered he did it live. He covered Them Bones by Alice in Chains, and I went into it expecting it to be a fucking train wreck, frankly. I was like, oh man, you're gonna cover Alice in Chains, and it was a different take on the song, but it was done so well. I'm like, this is amazing. So I think I really do respect him as an artist, where I was like, yeah, I like the fact that he is he makes more modern music, but it's cool to see people with that type of influence these days kind of showing. Yeah, he covered Nirvana as well. It's nice. It's nice to see them showing love to, you know, these classic. I mean, it's at this point, I guess they are classic rock bands. It doesn't feel like it, man. Isn't that weird? Like, to me, when I hear classic rock, I still think about like 60s rock, 70s, maybe even 80s. I don't think of 90s, but at this point, 90s, I think, is now considered classic rock. Shit, man. Connor Garrity says, how many Xbox games have been good this year, Sony? Well, Post Malone is not well known like MVG, obviously. I mean, again, going back to the Xbox conversation, you know, to me, what stands out about Microsoft's presence at the Game Awards, it's not that Starfield wasn't nominated. Like, that doesn't stand out to me. What actually stands out to me is that Hi-Fi Rush. bagged 5 nominations, and Starfield bagged 1. So even in competition with Microsoft's own games, with Bethesda's games, Hi-Fi Rush seemingly won out. And I'm not like saying that to shit on Starfield. I'm just saying, if anything, it's like, I don't know, maybe most people had maybe their radars were miscalibrated or something, where so many people were thinking like, oh, dude, you know, Starfield's got to be the one to be up for Game of the Year. But it's like, if anything, it seems like Hi-Fi Rush is more of a candidate to take the place of something up there and actually be a Game of the Year nominee. So you do gotta wonder if, again, let's not forget that It's Take-Two did win Game of the Year. I forget which year, but it did win. Was it 2021 or something? So we may end up seeing in the future, if Microsoft does bag a Game of the Year nominee, it could come from like one of these AA kind of unexpected hidden gem titles like Hi-Fi Rush, which would be, I think that would actually be pretty fitting for Microsoft, frankly. I think it would be, because it's like, that is what Microsoft is seemingly beginning to specialize in. So it would make sense if they end up producing some of these games that are not big AAA, but more on the AA side, but they end up really impressing people. Yeah, I agree. Returnal was I think my Game of the Year for 2021. Returnal was really good. I can't wait to see what Housemarque does next. So thank you for that, Connor. We also have Michael Meridian with a $5 super chat. He says, MBG, have you seen the Yoda meme about the Game Awards? It's hilarious. No, I have not. The Yoda meme? Game Awards Yoda meme. Dude, my favorite meme ever from the Game Awards is the picture of the Bill Clinton guy, like on the mic, looking like this, and he's in red. Like they basically just made him red and said like Dark Spirit has invaded. That, I don't think anything will ever top that. That is the funniest fucking meme regarding the Game Awards I've ever seen. But what is this Yoda meme for the Game Awards that you're talking? Like, maybe you can describe it to me, because I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. I tried Googling it, and there's so many different ones. Wait, when you say a meme, is it like a video clip? Because you guys are saying like watch it. You're saying applauding Hi-Fi Rush as their best game is a backhanded compliment. It's applauding a simple game that wasn't effed up on launch. That's all it is. Nothing special about the game at all. I mean, maybe you're right. Again, that is one of those. I can't speak to Hi-Fi Rush either. Again, like the way I'm speaking on Hi-Fi Rush is based off of what I've been hearing and what people have been saying and the reactions from people. I have seen people absolutely trying to shit on Hi-Fi Rush as well, but I remember when Hi-Fi Rush was first announced, I was just like, I don't know, man. This isn't doing it for me. It's a video. Yoda losing his mind to the nomination reveals. Oh, shit. Maybe I'll look it up after this stream. Oh, my God, dude. Show on stream? Maybe. I got to get through these super chats, though, man. Let me see here. I can't find it. I'll have to see if I can even find it. Like, what the hell? I'm sorry. Let me keep this flowing here. I'm sorry, guys. All right, where am I at here? Michael, thank you for the super chat. We have Warden saying, do you think the Portal is like the next gen PSP, but instead of its own games, you'll be able to play console release games? I do feel like the Portal is secretly like the next generation of, you know, the PSP and the PlayStation Vita. I just don't think Sony is saying it yet. I do. Like, the more I think about it, I think this is a very... I think Sony put a product like the PlayStation Portal out there now with the belief that, maybe not the belief, but the expectation that the future of handhelds will not necessarily be full native. That as cloud gaming becomes more relevant and more usable and more widely accepted, again, we do have to acknowledge that Sony invested heavily in cloud gaming with the new PS5 server racks and their entire new setup here for PlayStation Plus Premium. You know, I do really think that Sony might try to support this thing for the long term, and maybe like at the end of this generation or something, you know, they'll have a whole library. You know, let's not even say at the end of this generation. Let's just say at the beginning of the PlayStation 6 generation, they make some big announcement where like, we're putting like not all, but like most of our PS5 exclusives into PlayStation Plus Premium and PlayStation Plus Extra. And if you're subscribed to Premium, you can stream all of these games. I mean, that would be a pretty major selling point for this device. But here's the big caveat, though. The big caveat is that even if that's what they choose to do, and they do believe that this is like eventually going to be a more ubiquitous, you know, widely accepted device due to the cloud, if they do that, they're also asking people to pay for PlayStation Plus Premium, which is very expensive if you're paying for it yearly. So, something we do have to consider. All right, let me, guys, I have to, I'm sorry, I'm testing my audio right now. Is it coming through okay? I'm getting like I'm getting some weird feedback on my end. Just let me know how it's coming through. Where are we at? So, Warden, I appreciate the super chat, man. You guys are saying it's good? Okay. All right, good. All right, we got Ice Rezo saying, MBG, the biggest threat to Sony's dominance is Nintendo. If Nintendo released a capable console with NVIDIA DLSS technology to play games on parity. I agree. I've been saying this. I'm going to continue to say it. So the title of my stream says the PS5 is crushing the Xbox Series X and S. I just realized, dude, we're 2.5 hours into the stream, and I haven't even told you guys why I even titled the video this way. And I seem to have accidentally... Oh, here we go. Listen, this is from Push Square. Their title of their article says PS5 is now above PS4 in the USA, while the Xbox, or their next-gen rival, flounders. After the severe disruption of the post-pandemic semiconductor shortage, enormous credit must be leveled at Sony for rebounding in such an impressive way. According to lifetime Circana sales data shared by analyst Matt Piscatella, the PS5 is now 9% above the PS4 launched a line, accurate as of October 28th, 2023. The gap is likely to grow throughout the holiday with the release of the console's new hardware revision. Meanwhile, Sony's nearest rival, that being Microsoft, is struggling significantly. While the PS5 is trending above the PS4, the Xbox Series X and S is actually 11% down from the Xbox One. Considering Microsoft largely regards its previous platform as a failure, these are eye-opening statistics. Moreover, it's worth reiterating that this is the situation in the United States, where Xbox is the Xbox brand is the strongest. In countries like France, Sony is closing in on a 90% market share against its nearest rivals. So, yes, this is something that Matt Piscatella revealed, and why I titled my stream the way I did. I know people think it's just because I'm fanboying and saying Xbox sucks, but in reality, no, these are actual... This is really what's happening. Like, PS5 is absolutely fucking stomping the Xbox consoles to a concerning degree. Like, I know that Xbox fans maybe don't care as much about the console anymore because it's like, well, we have Game Pass and we're looking forward to all the games coming to Game Pass and Game Pass is everywhere. I get that. But if you do care about the console market, and especially if you care about the Xbox console, dude, that is not good. There's two things I want to highlight here. It is crazy. It is actually crazy that the PS5 is trending nearly 10% higher than the PS4. That is, listen, the PS4 was killing it. I mean, absolutely killing it during this time, like launch aligned. And the fact that the PS5 is doing even better. I've always said that I think the PS5 has the potential to actually outsell the PS4, which would be a huge achievement considering it's more expensive. And I know when you consider inflation, maybe it's really not, but it is, on paper, still $100 more. And the PS4, I mean, it was one of the most successful consoles ever released. And the PS5 is on track to beat that. But I just can't believe, man. Like, here's what blows my mind. Okay, and I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm being serious. It blows my mind that after all of these things that Microsoft has been doing in acquisitions, buying Bethesda, buying Activision Blizzard, they're now going to have Call of Duty, right? Like they have Game Pass. How are they 11% behind the Xbox One? And they have a cheaper console with the S. That is fucking mind-blowing, dude. I'm not trying to shit. I'm not even trying to shit on the Xbox console right now because I just feel bad. I actually feel nervous. Like, this super chat from Ice says we got to worry about Nintendo, threatening Sony's dominance, which is good. Like, I want Sony's dominance to be threatened in the console space because it fuels competition. But this is exactly why I said to people, and this is why I thought they were out of their fucking minds, where they kept fighting with me and they're like, you just don't want competition. I thought you said it wanted competition. But there is no competition. There is no fucking competition, dude. Microsoft is getting fucking obliterated. They're getting obliterated, dude. Like, this is wild. Now, granted, this was during, listen, these years that are tracked so far for the Xbox consoles are before the Activision Blizzard announcement or acquisition. So there is still a chance. At this point, I don't know that it's a good chance, but there is a chance that now that they have Activision Blizzard, maybe they will start to suddenly sell more consoles. Maybe towards the end of the generation, the Xbox will start to catch up as the market becomes more saturated, and people, they bought their PS5s, time goes by. Maybe they say, okay, maybe I'll buy an Xbox now. I don't know. That's insane. Like, the Xbox One was objectively a failure for Microsoft. And these new consoles, one of which is being sold for $200 less than the competition, is 11% behind in their home territory. Now, I know what people are going to say. MBG, Microsoft doesn't care, man. They moved past the console. I understand that. And you're right. In fact, I probably care more than Microsoft. Well, realistically, it's their business. I'm sure they do care a lot. But it is true that everything they do is in the name of Game Pass, not the console. But you have to admit, even if you are a fan of Game Pass and you are a fan of the Xbox brand and what they're doing and what they're going to deliver on Game Pass in the future, you have to admit this is not good for them as a platform holder, as a console manufacturer. It's not good. And we recently had a discussion about whether or not Microsoft may be gearing up to go, somebody mentioned earlier about Sony possibly having to go third party if they were to fall in the third place or something. Dude, Microsoft, I did say that they don't have to go third party. They have enough money realistically where they could just continue to support themselves. They could continue to keep their games off of platforms and not feel it. but they are business at the end of the day. They're not in the business of just perpetually losing money. Like they have to, they want to try to maximize profits and revenue, just like any other business. I really do wonder if they are, by the end of this generation, going to go third party, because this is a beating the likes of which I don't think we've seen since the original Xbox, dude. And that was understandable and acceptable because they're trying to break into the market. This is multiple generations deep, multiple decades now into Microsoft being a console manufacturer. It is why I don't know what's more shocking to me, just how good the PS5 is doing, or just how poorly the Xbox is doing. Listen, man, believe it or not, and I know some people are not going to want to believe this, I would have liked to see this gap, not as wide, frankly. Like I would have liked to see it closed in a little bit, where I guess it makes sense though, doesn't it? I guess it makes sense that like Nintendo is going to be the one. Nintendo is going to be the one that's going to have to push Sony a little bit here and make Sony uncomfortable in the console space. And I hope they do, because dude, as much as I am like, yes, I want to see Sony obviously kick ass and do well, because I love the PS5. I love the ecosystem. I love their games. I don't want to see them with no competition at all. It's clear that Microsoft, everything they're doing is not to compete with Sony. It's to carve out their own entire thing that's separate from Sony and separate from Nintendo. Start something new. And I kind of knew that from the start, but now we're really beginning to see that reality come to fruition. And if Nintendo's new console can't show Sony some competition in some way, shape, or form, look, I don't want to assume the worst. I don't want to be too cynical, but we don't want to see a Sony that's not threatened at all. I don't want to see them under extreme duress. Like, I don't want to see Sony with their back against the wall where like they're about to fucking sink. I'm not saying that, but I also don't want to see this situation where it's like, well, Xbox is literally not competing with Sony, and Nintendo, they're doing their own thing as well. I mean, that's going to give Sony a clear lane to just, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Sony wouldn't be like that way where they're like, we're dominant and we have no competition, so we'll do what we want. But they're a corporation, like it's likely that they would maybe end up doing that. So I guess what I'm trying to say, I know that was a really long-winded thing there, Ice, but yeah, dude, you are right. It is Nintendo at this point. It is obvious that Nintendo is going to have to be the one to bring competition in the console space to Sony, unless Microsoft makes some changes. Okay, if Microsoft makes some changes where they're like, you know what, we are going to give bonuses to Xbox players for Call of Duty or something. I don't know if they're allowed to do that, but if they were to change their minds on that, maybe, maybe that would be enough to win people over. I don't know. But yeah, crazy shit, dude. I mean, I will say though, on a more positive note, I'm very happy to see the PS5's doing so well. Like I love this console, man. Like I don't know what people are going on about. Again, the internet is a weird place. I've loved the PS5. I still love the PS5. I fucking game on this thing every day. And the thing about the PS5 that gets me is I just don't have a desire to go play anywhere else. It's not that I'm actively avoiding playing anywhere else, but it's just I'm pretty happy on the PS5 where any of the games that I'm interested in playing are there. And, gaming on PC, it's just not appealing to me. I obviously don't want an Xbox right now, maybe in the future. And a Switch, I'll probably get a Switch too. Yeah, I'll probably do that. But right now, I have no desire in actually picking up especially knowing that Nintendo's getting ready to reveal their new console. I'm not interested in the Switch. The PS5, I had very high hopes for it, man. I had very high hopes for this console, and I was pretty nervous that, Sony found such immense success with the PS4. Maybe they're going to screw things up this time. And no, they've been fucking killing it. Like, dude, listen, I wish I could have had a PlayStation Portal today, and I fucked up because Sony is going crazy with hardware. They're going crazy with hardware right now, and I could have pre-ordered it. I had all this time to pre-order it, and I was kind of in the middle on the fence about it. And maybe it's the FOMO creeping in. I don't know. I've been watching some review videos on it. I'm like, oh man, that actually looks really cool. I wish I could kind of try this out right now. And the reviews of it are very good, but I missed the opportunity to pre-order it, and it's sold out everywhere. And Sony's saying you're gonna have to check back in December. And I'm like, fuck. Like I did not expect that. I really thought this was the way people reacted to this device. And I don't think it's some kind of artificial scarcity either. I mean, I'm sure they're not producing like a massive amount because they're still trying to see what the demand for it is. But there's clearly more demand than what they expected. I thought this would have been a device that I would have just been able to, whenever I want, just go online and order it, and maybe it will become that way in the coming weeks. But yeah, man, I guess all this is just to say, like, I'm all for Sony continuing to really push the PS5 and support this console and make the PS5 the priority because that's where I play, and I know they're going on PC and live service games are going to go on PC, and I understand that they're branching out in some ways, but you can't blame Sony for continuing to make the PS5 the priority when they are doing this well. Like they're definitely going to sell over 100 million. Yes, I'm sorry, 18 May. Super chats. We have Jake Skew with a $2 chat. He says, I want to see what they do with an Alan Wake TV show. I would like to see that too. Again, not to harp on this, but I can't believe the guy who plays, I don't know his name, but the actor who plays Alan Wake, there are live action segments of this game, which is really cool. There's not too many, but the guy's a great actor. Like he's actually, I don't know if this is the same guy who played the first. Like, is this the same actor who played Alan Wake in the first game? Maybe somebody can let me know about that. But I think he killed the role here. And again, there's that chapter called We Sing that if you haven't played it, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you've played that chapter, it's like, I was like, dude, what that, like, this guy's playing such a serious role, and the versatility of this man's acting ability is genuinely impressive. And I think he actually plays, again, I'm not, this isn't necessarily spoilers because if you haven't played it, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but there's another character in the game that you encounter where you may not realize it at first, but it's the same guy. It took me a little bit to realize, like, oh my God, that's actually the same dude. But he's playing, like, all right, and that's as far as I'll go. I'm just saying impressive stuff. But they should get him, and they, Sam Lake, they like doing the live action stuff. They should see if they could do something with it, man. I'd be interested. I think the world that Remedy has created here is very unique and interesting, and that's what I love most about it. It does remind me of like Death Stranding to a degree, where it's like there's all this weird shit that like you just kind of, the thing that keeps you on the hook is you just want some kind of answers, and you keep feeling like you're inching closer and closer to getting some of those answers. But as soon as you get one answer, 3 more questions pop up. So, all right, we have 18 May. I'm sorry to keep you waiting, buddy. You're saying MBG considering getting PSVR for holidays. Would you recommend it, or should I wait or skip entirely? It's a tough one, man. What I would say to you, 18 May, is really do some research. I mean, research can only go so far. I will tell you, and I'm sure any research you do, you'll also find out very quickly that it's an experience you have to have firsthand to really know exactly what it's like. But in terms of how much it is, the type of support it's currently getting from Sony, or lack of in some cases, what's out there. It's getting, I would say it's getting good support, but I would look through all the games, see how many games there are there that you think you would be interested in playing, which ones stand out to you. Watch some videos, get an idea. I'm just recommending this because it's like, it is an expensive item, it's as much as an actual PS5. So as much as I want to just say like, yeah, man, go for it. I just want you to do as much research as you can. My personal recommendation is, if you look through the list of games and there aren't at least one or two, or I would say probably a minimum of 2 games, but 3, 4 or more, if you don't see games there that just immediately tell you like, I want to play that in VR, like I definitely want to try that out. And I can't promise you that if you do invest in it, you're going to be playing it every day, or, like even now, I haven't played VR in a little while, but I play it very far and few in between because I realize that's what it is going to be for me. And I'm obviously paying attention to anytime Sony's going to make some announcements with some first party games for it. But I just think you have to really ask yourself if there are games there that you feel like, yeah, that almost seems like a must play to me. Maybe like Resident Evil Village or Resident Evil 4 is coming up very soon, stuff like that. Was recommended Paradise Hotel recently. So I don't know if that's the best answer or the answer you were hoping for. It's not very definitive, but I would say only skip it entirely if you look through that catalog of games and there isn't anything that immediately makes you feel like, oh, I want to play that. If you're like if you're on the fence about every game you're seeing, maybe consider skipping it and waiting it out longer because you might end up disappointed. So yeah, that's my recommendation to you, 18 man. I hope that helps at least a little bit. We have Hidden Leaf Tutaka, a member for 23 months. Thank you for that long-term support, my friend. You're saying, love your channel, brother, but Tears of the Kingdom gets my vote. And hey, man, you're not the only one. There are plenty of people here that their game of the year is Tears of the Kingdom. And I've heard nothing. Honestly, I've heard nothing but good things about Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, I would not be surprised at all if it takes it. It seems like for a lot of people, they feel like Tears of the Kingdom is the obvious winner of the game of the year for this year. Wonder how much Sony wastes on R&D. It's interesting that you mentioned that because apparently Sony's profits are down by like 100%. I think year over year, either year over year from last. I think it's year over year, and the reason for that is mainly because of like other divisions like R&D and other areas of Sony that are just not they're just not performing as well. I don't think it has much to do with the gaming business. Like their games are doing well enough and the console's doing well, but yeah, there are definitely some things that Sony has to maybe sort out a little bit. But I don't know. That's the thing is I'm sure they have their reasons. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know if any of that has to do with studio acquisitions as well. But we have a super chat here from Omen86, and he says, in 11 days, Mario sold 4.6 million copies with a 100 plus million install base. In 11 days, Spider-Man 2 sold 5 million copies with a 46 million install base. That's why I'm saying, man, I get it. I know. A lot of people out there like Spider Woke or Woke Man or whatever. I get it. God, what is happening, dude? I'm sorry. Like, I keep feeling like a hair going up my nose. I don't know if it's from my mic. I apologize. Something's going on today, okay, with my facial hair. I don't know what's going on. Something's going on. Gotta get that shit in check. Anyway, it probably is cat hair. I don't know. I'm still feeling it. I don't know. Maybe it's cat hair. Maybe it's not. But Omen, you're absolutely correct, man. I've been trying to tell people Spider-Man 2 is on track to be the best-selling PlayStation exclusive this generation at the rate it's going. And I know that there was like that big conversation where like, is it underperforming? I don't think so, dude. I mean, it's doing really good numbers out of the gate. I think people tend to forget that this is a system seller game. You could question God of War. I think God of War is also a system seller, but I mean, it being cross-gen, you could question Horizon. You could question all these games being cross-gen, but Spider-Man 2 is not cross-gen, and it's going to incentivize a lot of people, not just this holiday season. Guys, you're going to see... I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think about Miles Morales and how many years and how many months where Miles Morales was just on the top 10 or in the top 15 sellers, but frequently like was just randomly there in the top 10. You're probably going to see the exact same thing happen with Spider-Man 2. No doubt. I have no doubt about that. I know a lot of people are like, yo, I can't wait to play Spider-Man 2 on PC. You might be waiting a while. I don't have a problem if it releases on PC. I bought it, I played it, I platinumed it. It could go to PC tomorrow. I'd be fine with that. But from Sony's perspective, they definitely, I think, see the long-term sales potential of a game like Spider-Man 2. And so I'm less inclined to believe that game will go to PC sooner rather than later. And yeah, you're absolutely right, Omen. We also have Josh Z. He says Zelda should win. It's amazing how much they improved on Breath of the Wild, specifically the physics engine. It makes Breath of the Wild obsolete. I'm pretty sure Mario is running on the same game engine. Tears of the Kingdom, over 20 million. Breath of the Wild, over 33 million. I know, dude. I saw that Tears of the Kingdom, that came out in May, and it's already at like 20 million sold. That is bananas, bro. Like that is... That's insanely impressive. I gotta say, like, for as impressed as I am about Sony's number, some of Sony's numbers, I'm sure Sony's dying. Like, they would absolutely love to get to those. I don't know. They would kill to sell 20 million copies of God of War in that amount of time. I think Sony could get there one day. One day. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what franchise it'll end up being. Maybe God of War could be one of the first ones because God of War did incredible numbers for them. But you're absolutely right, Josh. It's a sight to behold when we see how well some of these Nintendo games do. And believe it or not, I do like seeing Nintendo do well. Even though I'm not a big Nintendo fan, you know that, but I like to see them do well because Nintendo still sticks to the traditional model. You know, they have a console. They want to sell that console hardware. They make exclusive games. They put a priority on their first party to do that. And it works really, really well for them. And I think Sony does that as well, just to a different degree. And I don't want to say Sony should follow Nintendo. It's not so much that, but I just think that Sony and Nintendo could maybe become a little bit symbiotic, no pun intended, with their relationship where it's like, they can be the two kind of like Japanese console manufacturers that still stick to this model. And, you know, it's hard to say I think that's the big question between both Sony and Nintendo is how many more units can the Switch sell before we get a total number? Is the Switch going to surpass the PS2? If the Switch surpasses the PS2, what does that mean? How many units can a Switch 2 sell? What about the PlayStation 6? What about the PlayStation 5? Can the PlayStation 5 make its way up to the PlayStation 2 in terms of total number of units sold? What about the PlayStation 6? And I think that the real question between both Sony and Nintendo, since they stick to this traditional model, is, you know, is there more growth to be had, or did we hit the ceiling? I feel like that's a journey that both Sony and Nintendo can go on together, not so much Microsoft, for obvious reasons, and I hope they do, because I do believe there is more growth beyond the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 sold 155 million units. A big part of that was because of the DVD player, but you know, gaming has grown substantially since then. A lot more gamers today. I think that they could do it. Excuse me. So I appreciate that, Josh. Let me see. We also have a super chat from. Or a chat from Drive By Joe, who said, member for 4 months, who says, I have yet to pay for my own membership. Thank you all. Well, there you go. Drive By Joe, and he paid it forward as well. Drive By Joe dropped a membership gift. He has been a member of the channel for 4 months, and that was due to membership gifting. And that's what I mean about this community. You guys are incredible. You're out here supporting actual community members as well, which is awesome to see. So love to see it, man. We have Mustafa. I I would have, God, man, I feel like I knew that this time, but a member for 6 months, he says, "What's up, MBG? It's Mustafa from Iraq. Still watching you, dude. Keep up the good work, and thank you guys for the gifts. Best community for the podcaster." Well, absolutely true, man. And I appreciate you still tuning in from Iraq, dude. I appreciate you, showing up, and I'm glad you enjoy it. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. We also have Omen86 dropping a poop emoji in the chat, which is nice to see. Let me see. We have Navinzer with a $10 chat. He says, "When I was a kid, I had a Genesis and had a lot of fun with it, but when I played MGS2, it blew me away. I knew I was officially into games at that point. Do you have a gaming moment that did that to you?" Yes. Yes, and believe it or not, I think it was MGS2. I really do. I mean, I've had a lot of experience with games in the same way you're speaking to Novinzer before playing like the Metal Gear Solid games. And there were many games I really did enjoy, but Metal Gear Solid 2, and it's crazy that we kind of share this, was really the first game that it opened my mind and opened my eyes to video games. And something happened. Like the video games were just different to me after MGS2. And it wasn't just because of the story. I mean, the story was a massive part of that, but it was the entire package. And MGS2, see, MGS1, I was like late to. That was the problem with it. MGS2 was the game that got me into Metal Gear, that again just kicked me off into gaming, into on another level. It may have been because of my age. It was like how old I was when I first played it. But it really blew my mind. And so I'm right there with you, dude. MGS2, I will never forget the way I felt when I first completed that game. I was just sitting there staring at my screen, listening to the music and the credits roll. And I mean, I was alone in my bedroom when that happened. And I didn't quite understand what I was feeling in that moment. And it was all I had known is that was the first time I ever felt something like that. And I couldn't stop talking about it after that. And it was also a strange thing because this was it wasn't pre-internet, but I mean, realistically, it was like pre-internet where I wasn't really on the internet at all. And I was very limited in who I could talk to about this experience I had. And it was so interesting because as I got older and I started to get on the internet and listen to people talk about these games, it like dawned on me like, oh my God, like I wasn't the only one. Like, and I eventually like learned like, oh dude, Kojima, he's known for this. Like, this is what he does. This is like his body of work. And this is what kind of connects and unites like all the Metal Gear fans, where like we all look at each other like, Metal Gear, if you know. And I just love that. And ever since I experienced that with MGS2, obviously I started trying to play all the Metal Gear games, the mainline games, everything I could. I was obsessed with Metal Gear, but it got me into different types of games, and it started just kind of, I think MGS was really the first game where I cared about the characters, I cared about the story, and I obviously loved the gameplay, but it was in that caring. Like, because again, I look back fondly to like PS1 games, like playing Resident Evil 2, but the story of Resident Evil 2 was good from what I played of it, and Leon I thought was a cool character, and Claire, but like it just wasn't on the same level. And it's just weird because when I was playing the PS1, I didn't know about Metal Gear Solid. It wasn't until I got the PlayStation 2 and I ended up playing MGS2. And so really good shit, man. After I experienced MGS2, I really started to kind of look for, I mean, I started kind of comparing everything to it, right? I think that's like a natural thing where it's like, man, this game was so good. Can anything else live up to it? And maybe it was unfair, but it in a way, it kind of allowed me to, I don't know, it opened my mind to all these different games. And GTA San Andreas was a great PS2 game, yeah. I love GTA San Andreas, but good times, dude. Good times. So great question, Novinzer. I appreciate that. We also have Cypherpunk, who says Microsoft will use those PS5 market dominant numbers to try to buy other publishers in the future. they look even weaker. I think you might. Yeah, I mean, if they do try to pursue another publisher, they absolutely can and will use those numbers, but I don't know that it will work for them this time around because I mean, for as crazy as those numbers look, it's we also have to understand that in the years following the Activision Blizzard acquisition, Game Pass is going to listen. I don't know what Microsoft's expectations are. I think that they expect like double digit growth, like 50% plus growth. I will tell you this, my expectations with Game Pass going forward now that they have Call of Duty, exponential growth. That is my like I think that they're going to get exactly what they've been trying to get this whole time where now that they have specifically Call of Duty every year, yeah, I think they're going to experience significant growth year over year unless Call of Duty fucking implodes, which I don't think it will. I think if Call of Duty was on the verge of imploding, Game Pass would actually save it, believe it or not. But I do expect massive growth, and the reason why I'm saying this is because Microsoft isn't going to have the same type of leverage going forward. Like, because here's the thing: if Microsoft can't make it work with Activision and Bethesda, it's over. It's over. Game Pass is done. Xbox is done. Microsoft is out of gaming. Period. If they can't make Game Pass work, well, I don't want to say out of gaming, but the subscription model, they would just go third party and just rake in all the money from selling games on consoles and PC. But if they can't get if Activision isn't enough for them to make Game Pass work, nothing will work. Nothing will. Like Activision is going to be the thing that either proves Microsoft can make this model work or they can't. And so my expectation is I think it will prove it will make the model work. I think they knew that. I think that that's exactly why. I think they knew that Starfield's going to be a great boost. It's not what they need. They need something like Call of Duty. And we'll see, man. We'll see if that ends up happening. But definitely something worth paying attention to. Doolin Jones, thank you, buddy. You're saying PlayStation Portal is an 8 out of 10 for me. I played for a couple of hours. Looks gorgeous. I had only one tiny issue with the frame rate, but so far I'm really impressed with it. Yes, it's not for some people, but it is for others. Well, I'm glad thank you for giving me your little review on that, Doolin Jones, because I have been seeing a lot of people giving their feedback on this thing, and I'll be honest with you, man. Something that has become clear to me based off of everything I've seen is anybody who was unsure about this product did not buy it. Right? Like the only people that bought this product were people who knew that they wanted it and they wanted to use it for whatever reason. And because of that, I'm seeing that all the people who have purchased it are saying it's good and they like it. And it's like the only, even with reviews, I haven't even seen negative reviews for people who are giving review units of this thing. And you're saying you're giving it an 8 out of 10. And that's the whole thing. I asked you guys in my video yesterday, let me know, are you buying a Portal? And, there were plenty of people who said, no, I see no use for it whatsoever. And that's what I think is interesting is this device is actually not divisive at all. It's not polarizing at all, other than if you want a dedicated handheld from Sony, maybe it is. But it's not, because it's like it does one very specific thing, and a person should be able to know if that's something they're interested in. Like, I've been a little bit on the fence, but I realize now, like, I would like to have something like that. I don't know that I would use it that often, but I don't know, I realized I was just like chilling on the sofa this morning and just hanging out. Like, I get up really early in the morning. I just kind of thought, it would be cool to just be able to chill here with the Portal, and just if I wanted to play a game, just kind of like play it like this, lounge back and enjoy it that way. And I thought, man, in that moment I was kind of like, shit, probably should have just got one of these. But I think it would also be nice because I would like to give you guys my thoughts on it as well. But honestly, it was after watching the reviews of the Portal that I was sold on it. Like, I was really nervous for the Portal. I was like, oh man, when the reviews of this thing come out, I think it's going to get torn up. Dude, I haven't seen that many, but for the ones I've watched, they've all been saying like this thing is good. Like, yeah, it's a very specific use case, but it does what it says it's supposed to do very well. And I like it. Makes me interested in what other areas Sony might end up, because I think the Portal may open the door for other things in the future. Where if this thing does succeed, Sony might look at it and be like, what other niche, more hardcore areas can we like start developing different products for? Because the Portal, I was thinking like I would have never guessed in a million years back in 2020 when the PS5 launched that we would get a device like the Portal. And I think if somebody like talked about it and mentioned it, it would have sounded silly. And even when it was first announced, a lot of people thought it was silly. A lot of people was like, "Do we want? What is this?" But I'm telling you, like it sunk in. I think to people's minds where it just people realize like maybe I do want this. Maybe I will use this. And at the very least, it revealed that there is absolutely an audience for this device. It may not be that massive, but I will tell you the viewership I've been seeing on the reviews of this device. It was like trending on YouTube. People are paying attention to this device, and I think it's going to do a lot better when it's all said and done than anybody would have thought. That's the feeling I'm getting with it, because I actually thought it was going to be DOA as well when it was first announced. And it just, this just could be a very interesting beginning for Sony where they're like, maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll start trying to come up with other types of devices that people would want to use. Again, more niche, more hardcore. But you're saying PlayStation is the premium console, VR support, headsets, earplugs, remote play device, pro controller, etc. Sony is setting its players up with the hardware they need. They're going all in this gen. I agree with that. I mean, I know like to some people that might sound a little bit like nerdy, but it's just the truth, and like Sony really is everything they're doing. It revolves around the PS5, and they're really creating this console-based ecosystem. And I think the thing that Sony is beginning to learn with developing something like the DualSense Edge, the PlayStation Portal, these premium earbuds, which I want to get them when they come out. Hopefully I'll be able to. I think they're already fucking sold out too. God, man. But yeah, I think what Sony is kind of proving is that the PlayStation fan base, at least the more hardcore PlayStation fan base, is hungry for this stuff. And I understand that some people might get frustrated where they're like, well, I didn't ask for this and I don't want that. But it's like, yeah, but it's not, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Like if you just bought a PS5 and all you care about is just playing new games on that PS5, Sony's happy with that. You're happy, and you'll get that. But I like the idea that Sony is expanding outward into and just basically becoming more willing to like, hey, let's do different stuff. I love the custom. I love what's the word I'm looking for? I know this is, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the word, but I love the ability that Sony is giving us to fully customize the PS5, right? And I was curious with the Slim if they were going to do it. And they're like, yeah, we are. You can buy different plates. You can buy different colors. They got so much good stuff going on. And then on top of that, they're like, oh, and by the way, here's a bunch of different hardware options if you want it. And then next year, we're going to get the PS5 Pro. And I guess the big question for me, and next year, we're also getting that new Pulse Elite headset. My big question is, after the PS5 Pro, what's next? Because I don't think Sony's going to be stopping. So, exciting times, I think. Exciting times. Exley 3000 with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Exley. You're saying, here are my games of the year. Lies of P, Star Wars Survivor, Dredge, Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts, Red Matter 2, Moss 1+2, Ghost Song, Sable, Tunic, and Hubris. What are yours, gentlemen? Well, I apologize. I'm a little bit late to your super chat here, so I don't know if anybody answered yet, but I don't know that I have that many games of the year. So here's the thing, actually. I'm not actually going to answer this yet because I specifically wanted to save this conversation for when we get closer to the actual. I mean, we are close to the end of the year, but sometime in December. But I will say that, I mean, I've said this many times. My personal game of the year right now is Final Fantasy 16. So we're in agreement there. Hogwarts is a great game. That's a standout for me. Star Wars, Star Wars Survivor is weird to me because I thought I was going to love it and I started getting into it and then I just fell off of it and I never picked it back up. I don't have any like ill will towards it because what I played was very good. I don't know. It kind of concerned me because I'm like, dude, do I just hate, like, what's going on? Do I just not give a single shit about Star Wars anymore? And I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, KOTOR remake, I don't know if that's still coming or not, but from what I played of Survivor, it was very good. Lies of P, I'm curious to see where Lies of P stands. Alan Wake 2 is a standout to me. I will say, though, 25 hours in, completed it. My whole thing with Alan Wake 2 is I have to admit that from a gameplay stance, it was kind of lacking. From a story and just kind of keeping me engaged and guessing like what happens next, and also the unique way it's telling its story, it definitely, and the environments. I liked a lot of the environments. I did like exploring them. Very well done. But I do have to admit that from a gameplay standpoint, it left quite a bit to be desired. I don't really know what they could have done, but still a very good game, and I could see it maybe winning Game of the Year. But yeah, man. Actually, I think if anything, once again, you're just kind of highlighting here what an incredible year for games it's actually been. It's a lot of people are saying that 2023 is going to go down as one of the greatest game years for gaming ever, like in history. And I believe that, man. It is wild. It is wild. But I gotta say, man, for as good. Sorry, boss. I think I scared you. I don't know why that's so squeaky. For as great as this year was, I really have to wonder what 2024 is going to be like. I really do, because 2024 has the potential, possibly. We'll have to see. A lot of games haven't been announced yet. I want to see how 2024 ends up stacking against 2023. Saying the indie scene in particular was S tier for sure. Yeah, that's an area where I have to admit I'm really lacking and just kind of behind in is the indie space. I don't actively avoid it. Like, I'm not going out of my way like, oh, I want nothing to do with indies, but it's just something that happens. It's just like happens passively, where it's like I always find that there's always something I'm playing, or there's always something that people are telling me I should play. Usually in the AAA space, and like I said, I kind of take my time with games. I do still play Dead by Daylight. It's a game I play with my wife a lot. And it's like between that and taking my time with sometimes multiple single player games at once. We'll see though. Like I'm curious to see if I do actually give up trophy hunting, which I don't know if I'm going to yet. I'm still unsure. If I do end up giving up trophy hunting, I'm going to be really curious to see how that changes the way I interact with games. Because I've always told myself that I never allowed the idea of trophy hunting to prevent me from playing games. But now I'm not so sure about that, because one of the things I've realized is that every time I start a new game, I'm immediately thinking about the trophies. Like, there have actually been times where I would be scrolling on the internet and I see like Push Square something says like the trophy list for this game has been revealed, and I would immediately feel like, oh, that was a game I was interested in. Maybe I should check the trophies. And I realized in that moment, like I'm looking for trophies that are going to annoy me and potentially stop me from playing this game. And that's when I started to realize, like, this is getting dumb. Like, this is like, that is getting really dumb, where I should never ever let the idea, like, trophies and trophy hunting stop me from playing a video game, like, ever. And I began to realize that like it's kind of slowly approaching that territory where it's like, you know what? Maybe I am a man of extremes a lot of times in my like I realize that about myself. I don't know why, it's just how I am. I try not to be. I always talk about balance, but I realize that I don't know, I'm pretty extreme. I'm usually just like one way or the other, you know? Like yes or no, which is it? And I think a lot of us are like that, you know? I'm not saying that's like a weird thing. I just think that a lot of things in life you just don't realize that you're just usually one way or the other, right? You just it's either yes or no. And I realized like, dude, that's how I've been with trophies this whole time where it's like it's always been very extreme. Anybody who's been listening to me for a long time, you know I've been talking about trophies and like I've had rants about games with trophies. And I just like thought to myself, man, when's the last time you just played games without thinking about trophy hunting? And it made it like I just realized, dude, it's probably not since the PS2 days. And that's what's crazy is I miss that so much. Like I realized when I thought about how long it's been, I missed that. Like, man, just booting up a game and who gives a shit? Just play the fucking game. You know? And I don't know why that's so hard for me. Maybe it's just because I've conditioned myself over the course of like 3 generations now. Oh, you got to get the achievements, man. You got to get the trophies. You're saying that's you every day, dude. I'm telling you, it annoys the hell out of me because it feels like it's something. It's a problem I have to work to undo, and I wish it was never a problem to begin with. Because, like, I remember MGS4 didn't have trophies, and then they went back and they added them, and I was like, really glad I played that game before the trophies came out because I missed that. I think Nintendo, right? Nintendo doesn't have it. Omen, you're saying actively chasing trophies actually maybe enjoy games more. I guess it's a personal thing. Well, don't get me wrong. Like that's the thing. I think that is why I have enjoyed trophy hunting because they do give you this extra layer of I'm diving deeper into the game. I'm doing more things in the game that I otherwise would have never done. I'm getting more out of the game. And then you get that platinum, and that once that platinum trophy pops, you get that like burst of dopamine and satisfaction where it's like, yes. And there is just something so satisfying when you're going through your games list and you see a game just says 100%, got that platinum trophy, and you just, I don't know, there's just something. It's like, you know, looking at a trophy room where it's like, yeah, I did everything, you know? Like Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. I got all the trophies for that, even with the freaking, and I loved my time with it. The Ghost of Tsushima Legends mode. But the thing is, dude, in the Legends mode, you had to do the raid and everything, and it was tough. I mean, it was frustrating at times, but I did it, and I made sure I got every single trophy in that game. It took me like 140 hours, and it's incredibly satisfying. And there's like that other part of this conversation where it's like, what, you know, I mean, I can't deny that there are times when I trophy hunt where it forces me to extract more out of a game. And when it's done and I sit back and I reflect on it, it's like, yeah, that was pretty good, wasn't it? Like Returnal, right? Returnal's another example where I put like 60 hours into that game, and then like the last 30 to 40 I don't think it was 40 hours, but like the last 25 to 30 hours, it was because they made the collectibles or like those glyph things you had to find like RNG. And I literally, I was going fucking nuts, dude. Like my wife was probably like, "What is wrong with this man?" But I was like losing my shit. You know, I'm like 20 more hours deep in this game. I'm like, look, I love this game. I'm beginning to hate it because why the fuck would they do this for these collectibles? But I was one glyph. I needed one glyph, and I was like, I can't walk away. I can't. Like, it's right fucking there. I just got to see it through, and I did. And you know, that's where there's that negative side of it, where it's like, I'll be honest with you, that did not enhance my gaming experience. Like for Ghost of Tsushima, maybe it did. I got to experience the raid, and I would have never probably tried that without trying to get the trophy. But in this case for Returnal, it just made me fucking despise for that temporary period of time that game, where it was like I would have been better off just, dude, you got 60 hours out of this game and you loved it, put it away. You know, like who cares if you didn't get the platinum? Like you love the game and you got everything out of it that you wanted to get out of it. Maybe not well, I wanted the trophy, but you know, everything that you needed out of this game, I guess you could say. So, yeah, I could go on and on about trophies. It's takes up a lot of space in my head, as you could tell. Domingo813, you're saying I have two PS5s, one for multiplayer, Apex Legends, and the other for AAA games. I use the Portal for AA and indies to relax on the bed. I'm playing more games. It's really funny you say that, Domingo, because that is exactly what Sony apparently was trying to do with the Portal. They revealed this in an interview recently. I think it was Hideki Nishino, the head of their hardware stuff that they do there. And he said that the Portal was not created for Sony to make a profit, so I assume they're selling it at a loss. And he said the reason why it was created was for Sony to create a device that can maybe make PlayStation 5 players more engaged with the platform, with the console, just through a different means. They just basically want to up the engagement. And it's interesting that you're saying, Domingo, you're saying you're now playing more games because of it. I mean, yeah, dude, I think that is really we talked all about the cloud streaming potential and the long-term potential of this thing, but the short-term potential, I think, if you think about it, it is kind of cool that if you have a PS5, like, I don't know, let's say you have like a gaming setup like upstairs in an upstairs bedroom in the basement or something, and you got like the TV. The idea that you can just kind of take this device and you can like place it anywhere in your house, you know, maybe on your entertainment center in the living room or just on the coffee table somewhere. And at any moment, you can just pick it up, boom, turn it on, and you can just sit back and game. Or if you want to go out on the porch I think for a lot of people, psychologically speaking, it just opens up a door where it's like you don't have to be tethered to this specific room anymore or this specific screen in this room to play your PS5. And that's what I love about this device, because you can tell that was the goal when you look just the way you're holding. Like, it's a controller cut in half. It's a DualSense cut in half. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. So I appreciate you letting me know, Domingo. And yeah, that's the name of the game here. Engagement, man. We have Doolin Jones coming in with a generous super chat here, man. Thank you so much for that, Doolin. It's very kind of you, very generous. You're saying here people can get mad all they want about it not being a PlayStation Vita, but it's undeniable that there's a 90% demand for a PlayStation Portal device really like it. I've said long enough, this device is going to be a surprise. It's going to surprise everyone. You know, one of the things I will say, Doolin, when I was watching the really quick, Omen says yesterday I played the Portal for 25 minutes in bed before I fell asleep. Dude, I'm telling you, that's Sony's plan. Sony cannot wait to tell their investors how much more playtime that they've racked up from people just being like, well, hey, I could just take this thing and put me to sleep. That, you know what? That's fucking awesome. I love that idea. Just chilling there. I don't know. They say looking at screens right before you go to sleep isn't necessarily the best thing for you, but who the fuck cares? You know, you live once, right? But Doolin, it's interesting because I was watching the reviews, and one of the things that really stood out to me, I think I was watching Spawn Point's review. He did a really, really good review of the Portal. I'd recommend checking it out. And I guess he gets given all these different devices because that's basically what his channel is. He reviews this stuff ahead of time, and he did like a comparison shot of all the other handheld devices, like the modern ones. And the DualSense Edge definitely fit in that category where it like wasn't too big, wasn't too small, it didn't stand out too much. But what I did notice is one of the things he compared it to was the Backbone, right? Where you put your phone in there and it kind of turns it into, you know, a more playable handheld. And when I saw the Portal stacked up against the Backbone, with the Backbone is $100 and the Portal is $200, I realized, like, holy shit, this was definitely a no-brainer for Sony, because I've seen people say that, I would just use my phone. And, if you connect your controller to the phone and you're okay with that and you're cool with using your phone as that device where you can, stream your PS5 to it or your tablet, that's fine. But when I saw it specifically compared to the Backbone, it to me, it just made it so clear. Like, listen, man, for $100 more, it's obvious that the Portal is the way to go. Like, yes, it is $100 more, and I'm not trying to downplay $100. $100 is $100. But if you're going to take $100 and put it into a Backbone, you're probably better off just waiting, saving up another 100. That Portal is, I mean, it, from what I could tell, and it's no offense to the Backbone, because, it's a fine device for what it is. But man, it just kind of, it's not even, there's no competition, the from the screen to the DualSense features. Plus, it's also the idea, I could never get behind this idea. Not that I'd use remote play often, really, if ever, but I could never. One of the reasons why I had no interest in remote play is because I don't want to use my phone. You know what I mean? Like, my phone battery is, I mean, it's fine. Like, it gets me through the day, but usually by the end of the day, it's very close to dying. And it's like, there's no chance I'm going to be able to, I want to use my phone for other things. I want to use it for, phone calls, for texting, for social media. Well, maybe not so much anymore, but, anything I'm doing with YouTube, whatever it might be, I just want my phone to be free. I don't want to have to use my smartphone as my gaming device. I just never, even playing mobile games, I just don't like it. So, I understand if you're somebody who's like, well, I'm fine doing it that way. If you're going to use it, perfectly fine, more power to you. But I do agree with you, Duel, in that it seems obvious now, especially now that it's out. It's sold out pretty much everywhere. And maybe Sony's even pleasantly surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they are, where it's like, yes, it is undeniable that there is demand for this. Again, maybe not huge demand, but I think this, look, we'll have to see, but I'm beginning to think that this device is winning people over. Because I will tell you, I had every incentive in the world to pre-order this device, if anything, just for the channel. But I didn't want to because I really was unsure. Like, I don't buy things like I don't just buy things for the sake of, oh, I could talk about this on my channel. I really try to take it from is it something I'm genuinely interested in first and foremost? If it can benefit the channel in any way, great. But that's the way I approach it. And so I was very unsure about the Portal, but really once I saw it being reviewed and I saw people using it in real world environments. I mean, I know in the marketing and stuff they show it, but I feel like the marketing is always a bit exaggerated. I just kind of wanted to see people using it more casually. And the one thing I'm still a little bit confused about, and guys, for those of you who have been using it, maybe you can inform me. You can take this thing outside of your home, correct? And as long as I read somewhere, somebody was saying like you have to have your Wi-Fi has to be open. Is that true? I don't know if there's truth to that. So I remember I read somebody said somewhere they like your Wi-Fi has to be, you have to have like an open hotspot or something. I don't know if that's true. An open NAT type 1 or type 2. Okay. But that's not that. I was just getting confused with the way this person was describing it because they made it sound like you had to like jump through this extra hoop. And is it like, I don't know. Well, let me ask, have any of you, because clearly some of you right now have the Portal, have any of you actually tried using it outside of the home yet? Steve, you're saying public Wi-Fi. Does the PS5 have to be on? It does. See, that's the thing. If you, so to my understanding, if your PS5 is in rest mode and you were to take the Portal out with you, and let's just say you went to, like the library, maybe not the library. I don't know, just somewhere, just a public place where there's public Wi-Fi and you have access to internet. You connect to that network. You can turn your PS5 on remotely and then connect your portal to your PS5 and stream your game. If you're like an airport, hotel, something like that. Pretty, yeah. So that's my understanding of it, which is pretty cool. Saying that's why it needs streaming. Yeah, that I agree with. That's why I think it would be a game changer. Where if the portal does eventually get cloud streaming, you can take it anywhere, and you don't have to worry about turning on your PS5 and it speaking to your PS5. You still will need internet, but the portal doesn't have a web browser. I'm not surprised. The PS5, I mean, the PS5 technically has a web browser. You're saying you need to do a check, but there is no browser to do it. Oh. I might look. I think I'm going to look into this a little bit deeper when it comes to, because everything I've seen, everybody seems to be just using it in their home or around their home, or on their own, Wi-Fi network. You can use your phone as a hotspot. Interesting. Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah. What difference does it make whether you're streaming through the cloud or from your own console? See, that's the interesting part about it, is it really doesn't make that big of a difference, really, because it's effectively the same thing. You're just using your console as the server, essentially, to which you're streaming the game from. But it's just the fact that Sony does have, like, they literally just announced, like, now you can stream PS5 games from the cloud if you're subscribed to Premium. Like, if you're subscribed to Premium, you boot up your PS5, you can stream PS5 games from the cloud. So you could just kind of see, like, there doesn't seem to be any reason why that option shouldn't exist on the portal. Omen says it works on any decent Wi-Fi. I was surprised by how smooth it actually is. No lag, no stutter. I heard the screen looks really good, too. You're saying there is a big difference? Okay, well, so first off, if you're going to stream, if you're going to use this device at all, you probably want your PS5 to have a wired connection, like an Ethernet cable, right from your modem to the console. I think that would help. But obviously, you have to have strong internet. If you have a really weak, like, if you have I've seen, I don't know, I saw like this one clip floating around where it was a person, they were like trying to play a game and it kept like stuttering, and it's like, you have a bad connection, like you have poor internet, like that's why it's doing that, and it makes sense. Like, if you don't have a strong internet connection, this definitely isn't a device you would want to use, You can stream from the cloud 4K 60 on PS5. Yeah, that's another thing too, is the portal screen goes up to 1080p. But from what I've heard, it looks really good. So, saying the Wi-Fi in your home isn't that great, you have no issues with your portal. I was actually surprised by the quality and stability. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy, man. I'm happy to see that this device is off to a great start and people are enjoying it. And there's way more positivity around it than I thought there would be. And it's just nice. It's refreshing to finally have some positivity around something, something PlayStation just put out, And Doolin Jones with another chat, man. Thank you so much for the support, bud. You're saying my last super chat. I also say I believe PlayStation cloud streaming is coming to the PlayStation Portal soon, but when? Just let PlayStation devs give them time and let's let them cook. Here's another question. Because I agree with you. Like, we got to give them time, let them cook, no rush. You really have to start to ask, I'm just so curious if Sony has other plans with handhelds. Like, to me, this truly feels like the first baby step of Sony trying to get back into the space to some degree, and they're taking it very slow. And I just wonder, like, what else could they be kind of R&Ding or conceptualizing behind the scenes, if anything? It's hard to say. It's hard to say, but it'll be very interesting to continue to watch Sony PlayStation in the hardware space outside of the main console. I mean, certainly with the main console with the Pro, but outside of it as well. Sony should start selling bundles. Right? They should start selling PS5, basically a Wii U bundle. They should start selling PS5s with the Portal. You get like one regular controller and a Portal for like $700. That'd be pretty cool. 700, 750, something like that. That'd be a pretty cool thing. Well, it's nice, man. It's nice to see Sony kind of re-embracing the space. We'll see where they end up going. You're saying it seems odd that they would release a device with so many features missing. The fact that people are happy with it is great, but it incentivizes Sony to release many products lacking features. Yeah, I did see that people were very disappointed that it was lacking Bluetooth. But I don't care too much about the Bluetooth, only because they have a headphone jack, and I'm like, that, like, if it didn't have a headphone jack, that would be problematic. I'd be like, Sony, what the hell are you doing here? But yeah, I mean, I get it. Bluetooth feels like it just should be a thing that they should have, and it's a very bare bones product. I think is a. You're saying when did they stop? It's not. I guess you're right. It's not that they ever stopped, but it's just I don't recall them ever really going in this hard. You know, like this rapidly, like just like boom, 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 like just here's all this different hardware. But yeah, I want to see where this ends up going. Because I do think that if there's enough demand, because that's really all it comes down to, if there's enough demand, Sony would absolutely like to make a more expensive product with better profit margins, with more features, but it'll be more expensive to reflect that. But it comes down to like what the market expects and how it falls in with Sony's PS5 focus. So, but guys, we are past the 3.5 hour mark of this stream. I thought that this was an amazing stream. I had a really good time. I had a lot of fun over the course of this stream. And I mean, look, man, I know that something I did differently today was I've been streaming at the same time consistently. And today was a little bit different. Just want to give a shout out to the community for, again, like, I didn't give guys any notice. Just, hey, we're doing a stream now. It's starting in a half hour. And you guys showed up. And a lot of you guys have stayed here the entire time. So, yeah, shout out to this entire audience and community for continuing to show support to the channel, to the stream. I am going to segue into my outro here. I'm going to segue into it because, I mean, dude, the support was insane today. So many super chats that basically, you know, there was enough super chats to kind of keep the conversation flowing through the entire 3.5 hours. So absolutely massive shout out to everybody who super chatted today. I really, really sincerely appreciate that direct support. You don't know how much it means to me and the channel and the community. It's everything. And also want to make sure I give a massive shout out to all of the channel gifters today, because as you can see, we started with a goal of 25. You guys got us up to 80. You guys know who you are, and a lot of you guys are here consistently, pretty much almost every stream, always showing support. So I have to give you guys a huge thank you once again. Anybody you see supporting the channel directly with channel memberships, with gifting, or with super chats, they are the sponsors of the channel. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to continue producing videos. I wouldn't be able to continue doing streams. And it's an honor. It is. It's an honor and a privilege. And you guys are making dreams come true. You're doing it. You're doing it. So thank you. W's, I got to give you guys one more. Crazy Arnold for this crazy stream. I also want to make sure I give a big shout out before I go here to Devil Shooter. Devil Shooter does the timestamps, as you know, for all the streams, and he does a fantastic job. If you see him in the comments section underneath the stream or in any of the streams, make sure you give him a thank you, give him a shout out. I know he really appreciates that, and we absolutely appreciate all the hard work he does for the channel. The very last thing I'm going to ask you guys to do before I head out here is, as you're leaving, just take a second, hit that like button. Really helps with YouTube's algorithm and lets me know that you enjoy the streams. But that does it, guys. I'm hoping, if everything goes according to plan, that I will have a video out for you tomorrow as well. So if that does happen, look forward to that. And that does it, guys. So ending the stream a little bit later than usual, but yeah, I had a really good time. So that does it. We'll see what the next stream brings. Who knows? Anything can happen. But I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, guys, take care.